It's funny. I haven't even done it today. That's like bedhead.
I know. Your head is, you always look like an eraser. Hey, everybody on YouTube. This is Dave, and how are you tonight? As Merle is back. Yes, the legendary Merle is here for Ghosts of the Great White North. And we're going to be talking some Bigfoot tonight with Bhima Ji and Kylie here out of Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia, one of the most nicest tourism areas in the province of British Columbia. I'm being a little biased there because they have a great ice cream shack right along the waterfront. And I always get the double scoop of blue bubble gum and strawberry. It is a winning combination. Winning combination. All right.
That's good. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. All right. So before we bring Merle in and Bhima and Kylie, let's give a quick shout out to everybody who is in our chat room so far. And I know you're starting to fill in. All right. We got Brett Lewis. Brett Lewis is here, everyone, which means we can officially start the show. Hi, gorgeous Renee, Bombshell Bomber. Good to have you here. The lovely and talented Steph from Florida is here, everyone. The gorgeous Jessica. You know what? Jessica joined our I think it was a spaced out radio group. Yeah, she got great hair. Fantastic hair. Tina Smith, you're looking lovely tonight. Chris Jarvis and Jack Clark. Handsome devils you guys are. Good to have you back, everyone. Worsley, thank you for coming on in. BBD Warrior, always a pleasure to have you here as well. Who else do we got? Science Bob is here, everyone. Science Bob. He is one of the best and smartest individuals in ufology, and we love him around here. He's good people, very good people. Hey, Fast Hemi, good to have you back, my friend. Kimberly in Vancouver, always a pleasure to have you here, beautiful. Jim Christie is here, everyone. The Jim Christie. Enjoy the show, Jim. Pharmacy, good to have you here, my friend. Thank you for coming on in. Nilbog, always a pleasure to have you here. Big Rob, how you doing, man? What's up? Iron Dogger, good to have you over. I saw you over in Richie G's show. Dick Daigle is here, everyone. Dick Daigle, the former first overall pick in the NHL draft in 1993. Never call him a bust. He's a little sensitive over that. Choi, how you doing? Thank you for coming in, and I love the hat, too. I'm glad you do. Mere Person, appreciate you. Mark Ellens, you've been silent for a while. Where have you been hiding out? There she is, everyone. Princess Denali, the official princess of Spaced Out Radio. Millennium, good to have you back. Nate Foot, always a pleasure to have you here, my friend. Yeah, how's the boys? Let us know. And Burrito, you're making me hungry again. I was actually craving burritos earlier. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. I think we're caught up. Oh, there's the Spudger. Good morning, Spudger in the UK. Nucker, always a pleasure to have you here. Stetson John, what is going on? How could you pull yourself away from Steve Bassett's schooling? John, let us know. How is that even possible? Can Bassett school anybody these days? Just out of curiosity. Virgil, how you doing? Nick Madrid, Spain. How are you? Cashew, thanks for coming on in. Oh, my goodness, look who it is. It's Becky Belling, everyone. No, it's not Becky. It's Manitoba Becky. Different Becky. There she is, Manitoba Becky. And, oh, Merle's in the room. Merle's there. Hey, Merle, I see you. I see you in the chat room. All right, Bhima and Kylie, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good. And yourself?
Doing good.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Anytime I get to talk Bigfoot, I'm happy. Not going to lie.
Oh, you're cutting off.
I know. Sometimes I get a little excited, and I get too close to my mic, and I pitch right up. Damn it. All right, I'll back up a little bit. I'll back up. Yeah, sometimes I get a little excited. Talking Bigfoot. Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. As long as you know.
I know. And hold on a second. Merle, where are you? Where are you hiding?
I'm right here, just letting you do your thing.
Okay.
You keep clipping when you say Merle. You're getting a little too excited.
I know. I do get excited for you, man. I do get excited. All right. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Who else do we have here? Paul John Tavares, big Toronto Maple Leafs fan there, waiting for a trade. We got Kevin. How are you? Vinny, good to have you here. Corey Foot, what's going on? What's going on, Corey Foot? Okay, we got about 1 minute here. Great way to support this show is by going to our brand new store, facebook.com/the SOR Vault. Grab yourself your new gear. We're going to have some new stuff coming up soon. Hi, gorgeous Tammy. And, of course, another good way to support this show, we have the Super Chat open. If you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And, of course, hit that bell. That bell thing, apparently, it lets you know when we're coming on. And, yeah, we're going to talk some Bigfoot tonight. That's what we are doing. Right here. Spaced Out Radio. You know. A Regal. Oh, thanks, Warrior. So much Blue Line. Good to have you back. Thank you. All right, we are going live in 15 seconds. Hi, Tim, over in Spreaker. And, yeah. Let's do this thing. We got a radio show to do. Let's have some fun tonight. Here we go. Mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world. This, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. I'm sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show and our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Don't forget, we're also on KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Every month we stick north of the border for Ghosts of the Great White North. Merle from Paranormal Road Trippers is here to hang out and discuss the topic du jour. Tonight, we go into the forests of British Columbia looking for Bigfoot. Bhima Ji and Kylie are here from Sasquatch Country Adventures. They're based out of Harrison Hot Springs, a well-known Bigfoot hotspot. Their tours take you into Sasquatch country that so few have ever experienced. I have, though, because I used to live down there. Anyways, looking for the places where Sasquatch is hiding out and the history of being seen before. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Merle, how you doing?
Doing good, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're going to have a solid show tonight, Merle. Solid show.
Strong show. We always like strong shows.
Yes, I fully agree. And, you know, normally you don't really step into the whole Bigfoot realm, but tonight you're feeling a little spicy, I guess.
Feeling a little spicy. See what we can do. Let's see what these. Let's put these guys on the hot seat now.
All right. Well, let's introduce Bhima Ji and Kylie. They are from Sasquatch Adventures out of Harrison Hot Springs. And I got to tell you, Bhima, when I saw a little write-up about what you guys do, I was like, we got to get you on the air. So tell us a little bit about your company, Sasquatch Country Adventures.
Awesome. Well, just a little rectification. We are Harrison Lake Nature Adventure. The Sasquatch Adventure was the previous company that used to do this in the region before, sadly, the owner passed away not too long ago. And we sort of took over in the region, and we offer some ATV guided tours. But aside from that, we have a great tour that we've dedicated to the Sasquatch, because obviously, while we are in Sasquatch country, right, the Pacific Northwest is the preferred home, what my research has gathered so far, where the Sasquatch likes to live and experience our beautiful countryside, right? So we created a tour to bring a whole new perspective to the Sasquatch, right? Because if anyone doing research right now online will gather a lot of information about the anthropologic aspect of the mythical mythical beast, but no one talks about right, our ancestor, what views they had on the Sasquatch. And if we see with the native and we talk with them and we ask them what is their view on the Sasquatch, well, they bring a perception of a deity, and not this ape sort of missing link in evolution, but this deity that can cross from one dimension to the next one. And that really caught my attention, and this is why we created the Sasquatch Thrill Adventure, to go out and explore this avenue of the Sasquatch.
Well, thank you for pointing out my screw up there. I apologize about the name thing. You know, I was looking it up online because I remember it was long, and yeah. Okay, well, we got it now. It's HarrisonLakeNatureAdventures.com is the website, so I apologize to you about that. But Kylie, I want to ask you, because you are one of the tour guides here. So, what did you believe in Sasquatch before you joined this company?
Okay, well, again, I grew up in Quesnel, so that's the Caribou, Central Interior, and as you said just as well, being in 100 Mile House, it's Sasquatch country up there, so I never had any of my own experiences with the mythical beast. However, I do have friends who've had run-ins, like where boulders have been thrown into lakes while they're camping and all this crazy stuff. So I kind of came into the idea of it from a neutral state of being, and I mean, living in Harrison Hot Springs too, you drive through the village and it's filled with Sasquatch. You have Sasquatch chainsaw carvings and Sasquatch days, festivals, all of this. So it was really cool to explore further into it, aside from the commercialism, and then to also connect with the indigenous people of the area, and to really, as Bhima said too, kind of grasp more of a spiritual connection to it, and to kind of bring in that tangibility. So it's been really fun. It's been awesome learning more about the sightings and about locals as well. And it's pretty incredible too. I didn't think that there would be so much of an interest in Sasquatch. So it's really cool to see like how much has really been manifesting itself for us.
Well, I got to ask you, Kylie, as one of the tour guides for this adventure, what did you? Okay, you grew up in the Caribou. And for people who don't know, everybody knows that I'm in the top of the mountains of central British Columbia, but you're actually from north of where I am, and there has been, through our area here, a number of Sasquatch sightings over the years. And Harrison Hot Springs, where you are now, is the exact same. So when you compare how big this province is, which is literally the size of most countries, you have to imagine that there are a lot of these beings running between where you are now and where I am right now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think as well, in these like high vibrational places is where you'll also find these creatures. I mean, you look at the Pacific Northwest in general, like it's like the heart chakra of the country, really. You look at it, it's a rainforest. It's so green and filled with life, and the trees in the forest are so dense, and I think that it carries with it a higher vibration. And I think that, the Sasquatch, I think it kind of goes hand in hand. If you want to tap into like some woo-woo aspects of it, you can get into like the interdimensionality potential of Sasquatch, or you can get, right? Yeah, so there's this whole kind of frequency that I think that it's attracted to.
Oh yeah, we love the woo around here. You can never get enough woo. We have woo.
That's awesome.
We actually have woo T-shirts. We call it the woo train.
The woo train. Okay, cool. I'll have to get my
Oh,
hands
for
on one.
sure, for real. I gotta get.
Oh yeah.
Get a look.
Just hop on the woo train. We got them shirts for you. We do. Absolutely. All right. I got to tell you though, and let's just go right into it. Usually I like to warm up and get to know the guests and everything, but damn it, this is so close to home because I know your area and I've been out there and I've ridden the trails and it's fantastic. It's gorgeous. I know exactly where you guys are going. And I got to tell you, Harrison Hot Springs has had a lot of very close interaction with these beings. I remember hearing stories in the 80s where a construction crew was stopped because on one of their rock piles there was a Sasquatch walking on top and they all got freaked out. I remember stories like that and being in the forest and over by the hot springs, everything. But a big factor in this entire story is the connection to the Shahelis Indian band, which is very much a believer in this creature. And for about 100 years, they have told their young ladies, do not go outside after dusk alone because there is the potential that you could be kidnapped by Sasquatch. This is very real and taken very seriously in that area, is it not?
Absolutely. Yeah. Even speaking with Rocky LaRock, chief of the Shahelis band, he discusses how Sasquatch is his deity. Like he refers to him as this like enlightened being or this again interdimensional being. But I understand as well that they do food offerings every so often for the Sasquatch. And even just going through talking to a lot of the locals, you can see how relevant it really is in Shahelis specifically. And of course that carries over to Harrison. Like as you mentioned, like there's been so many sightings. I mean, there's a provincial park here named after Sasquatch. So it's that for a reason.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and you know that band. I don't know if I don't know if you use this story or not, but that band, I believe it was in the 1930s, where a young lady was actually kidnapped by a Sasquatch, and the band's warriors, they went up into the mountains and found her like 4 months later in a cave, and she had forgotten her native language.
Wow.
But she recognized them, and they brought her down the mountain, and as they were bringing her down, they were actually chased down the mountain by a Sasquatch, and they hopped in the canoe, went along the Shahelis River, and, you know, into where the reserve is, and immediately they locked up all the doors and closed all the windows because this Sasquatch for the next 2 weeks terrorized the community for stealing their wife back or his wife back.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. I actually met and talked with her cousin, and she confirmed the story for me. Yeah.
Wow. I've also heard too, and I can't remember specifically. See, I used to work at a metaphysical shop in the village.
Yes.
So like I'd meet lots of like interesting people coming through, like from all walks of life, like UFO enthusiasts, people just coming in for crystals, you know, your new agists, but also people who are really interested in Sasquatch. And I remember hearing from Steve Turnbull, he used to work at the Happy Prospector in Harrison.
Yes.
He had told me that there was a woman who again was kidnapped and then came back pregnant and then gave birth to this like half Sasquatch, half man. But yeah, I haven't heard like, and I guess that same, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, so yes, that is definitely a relevant phenomena in the area.
No, exactly. I mean, it is phenomenal. And you know, the Shahelis Indian band also, we should say, that's where the name Sasquatch actually comes from.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's pronounced Sasquatch, right?
Sasquatch, yes.
Yeah, Sasquatch is more of a white man representation of
yes.
not learning.
Yeah, I think J.W. Burns' article like coined the term Sasquatch, and it just kind of stuck after that point because that was published in 1920.
Up here, the Canham Lake Indian band calls them the Squitch. Squitch.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's just another variation of the name, but it's also in your area. That's kind of where the whole idea of whether or not this creature is interdimensional or supernatural in some sort of ways. I know the band really believes that, and many members of the band who believe that as well.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, even if you go down the Harrison River, there's pictographs, and I've kayaked up to them, and I've really taken a look. There's a transformation circle that is carved into the rock, and then beside that are two red ochre paintings of these transformation siblings. So what it was said was at the end of your life, you would pass through this transformation swirl and then go into your next life, right? But it was this whole idea of interdimensionality that went behind that. And then you also add Sasquatch into that same culture. So I do believe that it's all closely related.
So do you believe then, Kylie, Bhima, I'm going to ignore you here for a second, and Merle never Merle never talks, so we don't need to worry about him. But Kylie, I mean, you seem so knowledgeable on this. This is something you've had to study up on. Do you believe with everything that you have learned about this creature that we are dealing with something special, or we are dealing with some sort of ape-like creature?
I definitely conspired to the idea of it being an interdimensional being, for sure. Like, I think that there's only I think that we live in an interdimensional universe, and I think that there's so many different layers to what we can experience and what we allow ourselves to tap into. But I think that when people are having some sort of an interaction with Sasquatch, that it's almost as though they're tapping into that frequency, which is allowing this to happen, if that makes sense. But yeah, so right. I take the woo approach on that one for sure.
I'll join you. I will join you. I got to ask you, Bhima, in regards to this tour, what was the reaction from the First Nations in the area about you guys setting up a Sasquatch tour? I mean, I know many of them feel that the white man exploits this creature to its own benefit, but I'm curious, did you have to deal with any of those political ramifications?
No, at the present time, we didn't encounter any resistance from anyone, but my approach is not the commercial approach in itself, and anybody that knows me for more than 5 minutes will understand that money in itself holds no bearing in my life. And I really like the adventure and the what I can get and experience from it, right? And in our approach, one thing that I do think that we're missing right now in society is we're missing this connection with nature. We're missing this connection with our spirituality, if you want, right? Mother Nature, to go out and experience this sort of connection. And in our tour, we're mainly bringing as we can call it, some edutainment, right? Where at the same time as we're talking about the stories and the recollection that happened locally, we also bring in the awareness and the importance of respecting the forest, Mother Nature, and whatnot. We do take some times to pick up some garbage when we see them. We talk about the importance of nature that have in our life. For myself, my spirituality connection comes from the yoga discipline, right? I'm the town's yoga teacher right now on pause until this whole craziness is over of COVID. But other than that, this is where my spiritual connection comes from yoga. And as a teacher, I feel it is my duty to offer that space for people, not just to have fun and go outside and say, well, I've looked for the Sasquatch, right? We don't even label ourselves as a Sasquatch hunter, because Sasquatch hunter would mean that we have to gather some information, that we have to gather some proof of their existence, where we're more Sasquatch enthusiasts, where we're hoping that at some point we might vibrate in a good, positive way for them to manifest themselves around us, to feel comfortable to manifest themselves around us. So I think that we're very respectful of what the Sasquatch tradition or the ancestry of the Sasquatch. And I believe by doing so, at least for right now, we don't have any issue with the local tribes and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, but it's one of those things, though, that you have to be sensitive of, right, Kelly? Or Kylie, pardon me?
Yeah, absolutely. I have touched base with Rocky LaRock. I used to work for the Happy Prospector in Ancaster and Harrison. And Rocky, he's a mask carver. So I remember there was this really beautiful mask that he had done of Sasquatch. It had the dualistic nature. So there was both the divine masculine and divine feminine that was created in like what he had done there. So I remember he really stuck out to me, and I've talked to him a few times at Sasquatch Days, and then as well as that have talked to him via email, again, as Bhima mentioned with COVID. But he was really excitable and was just happy to share again, like about his passion with mask creating, and about how, again, Sasquatch is his deity. He referred to Sasquatch as his god. And he was excited to get out when it's possible out on the trails. So, I mean, we have had positive interactions with, and there has been communication in that regard too. But I've been in charge of that communication, or like the email exchanges there. So, yeah.
Merle, would you like to talk?
Yeah, hey, I've tried a few times, but the conversation's good, so I didn't want to interrupt. About Shahelis, I've gone Bigfoot, Sasquatch hunting up there a handful of times over the years. Um, Shahelis Lake is my go-to place for camping every year for the past decade. North End and South End. I've been holding on to this Sasquatch story to tell on a Sasquatch show with Dave, which we have tonight. Dave doesn't even know this story. Comes from one of my best friends. So Shahelis Lake is just picture a beautiful lake in the mountains to our listeners. And her and her boyfriend were going camping to the south end of Shahelis Lake. It's the more populated side where people can go if they just have a regular truck, because a lot of the logging roads and roads are pretty rugged. And that's a known Sasquatch area, and those two are Sasquatch enthusiasts as well, so they like to keep an eye out for Sasquatch. And they'd taken note that the area they set camp up in, they couldn't hear any birds, there was no wind, there was no sounds of like squirrels, chipmunks, anything, like dead. And it was eerie, because that part of the lake is windy quite often. And so they set up, they do their thing, and then night falls. All of a sudden they hear knocking on trees, all are like surround sound around them, and they hear grunts, and then they hear rocks probably the size of acorns trickling towards their tent and hitting their tent. There's nobody up there around this time because they were in the off. I think they were up there around May, June, before people actually go camping up there. And they heard something bigger walking through their campsite area, and then it just left all of a sudden. And then obviously they couldn't sleep that night, so I think they slept in their vehicle for the remainder of the night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then they stayed another night, but then the next day was birds chirping, wind was normal, nice waves on the water. And my friend said that was one of the most scariest things that's ever happened.
Wow.
So after that, they come back, they tell me the story, and I'm all like, well, let's go. And then 2 weeks later, it was just the three of us. It was me and my two friends. And I set up a bunch of my gear, some audio recorders, a couple trap cams, night vision cameras. I'm like, we're going to hear this. We're going to get this. Nothing but a tipped over trap cam.
Merle.
Wow.
Yeah. Good story.
Seriously, good Merle there. Good Merle. But, Shahelis Lake, though, I mean, back in, when was it? In the mid-90s, early 90s, there was actually a tidal wave of about 110 feet there when the mountain came crashing down into the lake.
I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, it was crazy. I actually, one of the first times I ever went ATVing, it was up to Shahelis Lake, and we went to that campground, and literally, you could see on the other side of the lake the trees that were wiped out from this tidal wave, when literally a quarter side of this mountain, much like for our American listeners, much like with the way Mount St. Helens came down, that's what happened with this mountainside and caused this tidal wave going right through. Now, thankfully, it happened in the winter when there was nobody around. Yeah,
no kidding.
Yeah, but also, I believe right before Shahelis Lake is Elbow Lake, and earlier this year there was a big Sasquatch sighting there too. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one.
No, I haven't heard about that one.
Oh, it happened. It happened, but you know what? We're going to talk Sasquatch all night long here because we got Merle from Paranormal Road Trippers, and we're here with Ghosts of the Great White North. From Harrison Lake Nature Adventures, we have Bhima Ji and Kylie, their website, harrisonlakenatureadventures.com. More Sasquatch talk with the trio here on Ghosts of the Great White North. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear.
There you go.
That was a quick half hour.
Yeah, it went by pretty fast.
Yeah.
Extremely quick.
Solid radio there, Merle. Solid radio.
Solid radio. Good story time.
Yeah.
Open the book for that one.
Yeah. This is why you are legendary. Legendary.
Shahelis gives me the creeps. That whole area, actually.
Yeah, there's a good feeling there for sure.
Like
I get
even,
this feeling out Chilliwack Lake Mountain area too. If you guys have been up there.
Yeah, there's some major sightings up there as well.
Yeah, I can feel it.
I'm always super because since I camp up there all the time, but on the south end I'm super uneasy. North end I'm fine, but the south end is something about there. Don't like it.
Yeah, we used to ATV on the on the south side, the southwest side of the lake, and like we'd go up to like Sunshine Lake and all of those little hidden fishing gems up there. And what was the one lake up there? I actually jumped off a cliff and into the lake. That was kind of cool.
Weaver or?
Yeah, Weaver. When you go right to the back end of Weaver Lake, they got the big rock wall.
The big mossy rock wall? Are you kidding me? I love that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I jumped off of that.
That's cool.
It's like 40 feet. It was awesome.
I love Weaver. I was there this year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
Love that whole area.
Yeah, the whole area is beautiful. Hemlock and all of that too, with the salmon hatchery.
Yeah.
20 Mile Bay is like my favorite campground.
I remember I was taking my daughter fishing one day in behind the fish hatchery there. And as we're walking along the fence, this guy in the fish hatchery goes, "Yeah, I don't think you should go fishing today." I said, "Why?" He goes, "About 10 minutes ago, a mama bear and her cubs just walked through there." So I'm like, "Okay, I guess we're not going fishing there today, honey."
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In my younger days, I used to work in the Northwest Territory, and I did a face-to-face with some cubs and a mama bear. And I was doing some surveying for a oil company. And on the way back, when I came face-to-face, I stopped. Back then, I used to smoke cigarettes, so I stopped and smoked a cigarette, and I see those cubs coming right in front of me, in front of the bike, and I was quadding, and then after you see the big mama bear, and she shows up, and she stands up on her feet, roaring at me, right? I got so scared. I took off. About a quarter mile down the road, my partner was there putting some, whatever he was doing, and I just flew by. He called me up on the radio. He's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Get out of there!" And I flew all the way into the oil patch, right? The plant. Anyways, just to say that it was pretty scary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, running into bears all summer too. I've been doing lots of hiking out in Harrison. And have you ever been up to Slawacum Peak before on East Harrison?
Honey, I'm fat. Do you really think I'm gonna go hiking up Squalicum? No, of course not. Shame on you.
Okay, well,
Shame on you.
Well, if you ever want a guided tour up there next summer, we can do some hiking. But both times I went up there this summer, ran into bears. So there's lots of them out in this country.
Yeah.
Pretty big right here. I've done it. It's good for the heart.
Oh yeah. No. My case, a heart attack. But no, nonetheless. Anyways, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna bring my side-by-side down, and we're all gonna go for a ride. That's for sure.
Have you ever been out to Port Douglas before?
I have. The furthest I've quadded up in that area is, you know where the campground is? It's on the far end of the lake, way back there. You have to get there from the west side.
West side, okay. Is that like by where Slow-Cat Hot Springs are?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit further is the Slow-Can, but apparently that road you can go straight to Pemberton on.
You can, yeah. I used to work on another boat tour in Harrison, which is part of the reason too. Like when I started working there, like in the fall, they do their Eagle tours down the Harrison River. So I had the privilege of getting to research into the Shahelis and all of that. But anyway, but their connection with Port Douglas too is quite beautiful. But I've been fortunate enough to go to Port Douglas, I think 10 times, which you mostly can get to.
Are people still living there?
There are 10 people who live there, and there's one guy, we call him the mayor. He always comes through. What's his name? Andre. His name's Andre.
Merle.
And he loves pineapples.
Merle, that would be one hell of an area for an investigation. Hold on, guys. 5 seconds. Thank you to Teresa and BBD Warrior. Here we go. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. I want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we are talking with Merle from Ghost of the Great White North. I think he said about 6 words so far this entire show, but that's a record for him. We're happy about that. And our special guest tonight from Harrison Lake Nature Adventures is Bhima Ji and Kylie. They run a Sasquatch tour in Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia. How awesome is that? Everyone, welcome back.
Oh, welcome. Thank
12
you.
words, Dave. 12 words.
12 words. Okay. Thanks, Merle. I appreciate that. All right, let's just kick it off. How often is Sasquatch being seen in the Harrison Lake area every year? Kylie.
Every year. Well, I would say the past like 5 years, I've read up on 10 different sightings, give or take, about 10. So, and different accounts as well. Like there's been people who have come across, and those are just the reported ones. Like I'm talking like with Thomas Steenberg, mission Sasquatch enthusiast and researcher and author. But so there were 10 accounts that I heard from him, but there have been others as well, like talking with the locals at the hot springs. I've heard of, Sasquatch whistling at people, or as Merle was mentioning too, throwing rocks. I've heard of people camping and then hearing trees like bending and snapping over, things like this, which just there's really no rational explanation for these things happening. So I would say it's quite frequent, but it also depends on how many people are actually coming forward. Like when I have my own paranormal experiences, I'm not exactly going and reporting them all. I'm just kind of keeping them, to myself or to my close group of friends. I guess with Sasquatch, I'm a little bit more open with it now that we're doing the tours, but if you know what I'm saying.
No, absolutely. And that's one of those things that you do have to keep track on. So, Bhima Ji, how do you keep track of all of this?
Well, since we're fairly new in the region, right now we're more tracking everyone other than people tracking us. They can contact us by via our website. We've got a message portal that you can send a message at any time if you have any recollection or whatnot. But right now we're keeping ourselves pretty acute with anything in the region with our contacts that we have, and that we're gathering all the information. That's how we're staying up to date for so far. But we're always open, but haven't heard anyone come forward yet.
Yeah, word of mouth.
It's still a huge topic of discussion for that area because, like you said earlier on in the show, you the minute you go into Harrison Hot Springs, everything is about Sasquatch. Everything.
Absolutely.
What is the town's connection to this? Is it just for tourism, or is it for the fact that this is embracing part of the strange history and the strange energy that's around Harrison Hot Springs?
I think that it's like the full spectrum of it that you experience when you come to Harrison, because again, like you do have your indigenous groups who do have their beliefs, you do have the commercialistic aspect of it, but you also do have people who they're just average everyday people. They're going out hiking and they have their own experiences as well. So I think that you're experiencing the full realm of duality there. I think that the village definitely, of course there's a bit of commercialism with Sasquatch days and, that guy wearing the Sasquatch costume, like driving around, waving out the windows and everything. But there's still a levity to it where it is taken seriously here as well.
Well, a lot of the locals have their own experience as well with the mythical creature, right?
Yeah.
It's not when your background or your back door is the Harrison Lake itself, you're bound to have yourself a few stories that you've experienced. A lot of the locals come to Harrison because they like to spend some time on the lake. They like to go hiking and whatnot. And when you make yourself available and unthreatened, I think that they do like to in some way manifest themselves, right? It's so as I was saying, I think a lot of the locals have their own experience with the Sasquatch, so it is a respect. And we even call him Steve in town, right? Everybody refers to the Sasquatch as Steve.
Well, we refer to this guy as Merle. Merle, you're up.
I just want to know, so you've talked to a lot of the locals about Sasquatch and, Steve. What's an encounter that sticks out in your head of actually seeing Sasquatch instead of just hearing?
Okay, so I personally haven't seen Sasquatch, but I have heard definite whoops before. If you guys have ever heard of like the Sasquatch like whoop. However, I was in Oregon when I did hear it. But even still, so that was my most like prolific experience with it. Aside from that, I mean, there's this one story at Sasquatch Park, and this is 2017, early 2017. They were camping there. There were 4 campers, and then, they're waiting for their 5th friend to show up. And in the time that they were waiting for their 5th friend at the closed gates, they all saw something tall and black that was kind of swaying from side to side. So, I mean, they physically saw this thing. By the time their other friend came to show up, the thing had disappeared. They made some sounds. Sounds were made back at them, and then they went and they grabbed their cameras. And when they grabbed their cameras, what are they called again? Imagers? Thermal imagers, I think they're called?
Yeah, thermal imaging, yeah.
Yeah, so they had them in their truck, and they took them out, and they said that right where they had first spotted the Sasquatch, there was a hot spot there, and that they found another one later on as well. And then the camera did pick up like the very last clip of the Sasquatch like running, but it's not really of course, like with all Sasquatch videos, it wasn't the greatest quality. But if these people were noted to being like good candidates of like Sasquatch, what's the word I'm looking for?
Energy?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, they were just like good candidates for like, they were reputable people. So came from like it was just a very believable story or sighting.
Very cool. Absolutely.
Yes,
very, very cool.
So as far as like actually visually seeing a Sasquatch goes, like that's the one that really sticks out to me.
Well, that's often we hear them, but to see them. For myself, I had once. I didn't even know that was the encounter. At first, I thought it was a bear that had encountered. I took my kids. They still live back east, and with my wife, we took them camping to one of my favorite spot on the east side, and we're all around the fire, and we were, one of those moments when you're just contemplating, right? The sun had just set, the sky was still like had that pinkish glow to it, and it was really nice. And my kids never seen these types of views, so they were experiencing this for the first time, so that we were all quiet, just sitting there and eating marshmallows, right? And out of nowhere, we heard this big grunt, like this. I guess this is the best representation that I can do, and it almost sounded like a bear warning us. When you're too close to a bear, he's gonna swat the ground, and he's gonna do like a sort of a grunt to put us in guard. But yet again, what was odd is that in the situation we were at, is we weren't coming. If it was a bear, we weren't coming aggressively towards them. So that wouldn't be the sort of noise we would expect. And just to be safe, I took out my bear bangers. Like those are flashbangs that you shoot up in the sky to scare them away. And usually when I do this and there's some bears around, you'll hear them running in the bushes, right? You'll hear the branch cracking and whatnot. And when I let go of the bear bang, there was no noise, nothing afterwards. And then throughout the whole night, I had a hard time to sleep because of that encounter or noise, because I can't say it was anything. So I was paying a lot of attention of the noise around, and all night I heard like some heavy thumping. I would say maybe 100 yards away from the campsite, but nonetheless I could hear and feel the thump and the branch cracking and whatnot. So afterwards, learning more about the Sasquatch, I came to realize it could have been an encounter, and it really piqued my interest in the subject for sure.
Do you think they're doing it out of being territorial or more inquisitive?
I think it's more inquisitive, because I don't think they're territorial being in itself. And if we just stop there for a second and we just look at the behavior, not the image or the fantasy that we can make it in our head or whatnot, if they would be territorial, we'd be finding the bones and proof that they lived in that area would be very easy, right? Like if it would be if we would go out, let's say, for some wolves or a bear or whatnot, we'll find a den. We'll find where they live, where they hunted. We'll find some proof that they've been there. But those creatures or beings, they don't leave anything behind. So I don't think it's territorial, but more inquisitive in itself. Yeah.
I do a ghost tour up here, and during the tour, we will actually pause in this old schoolhouse for our people to come on in and tell their weird stories. And I had this gentleman, he was about 70 years old, come in, and his wife was egging him on. She's like elbowing him, and she's like, tell him the story about the Bigfoot. He's like, oh, they don't want to hear that. And I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because I'm so much more of a Bigfoot guy. Well, back when he was 18 years old, he was literally out going fishing with his buddy. And they're in this tent out between Pemberton and Lillooet at one of the little lakes in between there. And it's the middle of the night. And all of a sudden, as they're fast asleep, they feel almost like a forklift arms going underneath both of them. Oh. And this thing starts to pick up the entire tent. They hear the rope strings and the pegs popping out of the ground. They wake up because all of a sudden they're like, what's going on? What's going on? And they start wiggling around, and all of a sudden these arms just as slowly put them down. And the tent collapses on them. And they finally get out of the tent, and they race away to try and figure out what was going on. Can't find anything. This thing is gone. So the one boy goes back with his dad and his brother the next week to the spot after telling him what had happened. Dad is sleeping in the single cab truck with the shotgun. The boys are in the cabin. All of a sudden, bang, 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 the truck starts rocking. Dad wakes up, opens up the driver's door, looks, sees something there shaking the truck, fires the shotgun, not sure if he hits it. This, whatever it was, takes off into the bush. And, yeah, freaky stuff. Freaky stuff.
That is freaky, totally.
But they do get freaky, I think, when we're more aggressive than not. I was reading a recollection about a guy, and I'm just trying to find the information in front of me. I took some notes there. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, this gentleman was working for a forestry company, and he was walking around and about in the woods, and he saw, again, as most recollections start, he saw what he believed to be a bear at first, and then after he saw this big man-shaped hairy thing standing up, and he made some noise. It turned around at him, and he got scared. He took his rifle and he shot at it. And as I was reading, the Bigfoot got really pissed off, started chasing him. The guy ran into the forest, fell into a sort of like a hole, like a den or something, and then the Bigfoot grabbed some trees, through the trees, that like 5-6 trees, and that covered the hole where the guy was. And then after the guy was really injured, punctured lung, he was hospitalized for a few days and whatnot. When they found him, a broken rib, so on and so forth. And he says he sees this big face like that, like feet wide, right? Like almost 2 feet wide, looking at him. And he says, like, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. And he passes out. And when they found him, he was dug out of the hole and he was put on the side of the road where the people, the workers, and and I missed that step where the workers were looking for him, and they went away to get reinforcement because they saw the Bigfoot that was standing over the spot where the guy was. So they went to get firearms and whatnot to come back. And when they came back, they found the guy on the dirt on the side of the road. And for him, the last thing he remembers is being under like this pile of logs and whatnot, and this big ape creature looking at him. So I think that, and just in the behavior, when you look at it in itself, what I gather from it anyways is in face of aggression, it defended itself, right? Righteously, like anyone would.
Absolutely.
But other than that, it didn't mean any harm. It actually helped him out and set him where his buddy could find him. So they have that consciousness of not just being the abominable snowmen, as some people call them, right?
Absolutely.
They're not. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that because I think that Sasquatch, like their original name too in Shahelis, actually translates over to the caretaker who watches over the land. And I think that there's definitely dualistic nature within all things, and that goes along with Sasquatch as well. So you'll probably have both your malevolent and also your benevolent energy that will come from that. It just kind of depends on, I don't know.
Well, Jane Goodall, right, did a piece on the Bigfoot, and she says that she encountered and she had some experience living in that community. And they said it's like, yes, they are interdimensional, high consciousness beings, but some are assholes. Like, and sorry about that, but it's some you'll like them, and some you're gonna really hate them. Like some have really good personality, just like other has really, really bad personalities. So yeah.
Did you guys ever hear the story? It came out about 20 years ago. You know where the Shahelis River is, and it goes underneath the bridge, and there's a parking area there. And if you follow up that parking area, there is a giant pool, which is well known to the fishermen for the coho season. And about 20 years ago, there were two gentlemen fishing in there, and literally they got scared out of the area because 300-pound boulders were being thrown at them from the cliff above.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I have a friend again, like back in Quesnel. Her family was camping out at Batnooney, which is just I think it's between the old PG highway between Quesnel and Prince George, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so they were camping out there, and outside of their campers and tents were these massive boulders right beside the lake. So they were sleeping, and in the middle of the night, they heard this massive like splash and just like all this huge sound, and they're like, whoa, like what is that? So, you know, their kids are all inside. They didn't hear any rowdiness outside aside from that, so they just went back to bed. But the next morning, they went out there, and the massive boulder that was by their tent and their camper was gone.
No
way. It had been
in
water. Yeah, so it's
wow.
That's crazy.
Merle.
Very much so.
Merle, your public awaits your presence on the show here in the chat room.
Yeah, Merle, what's up?
All right, I'll read it. Back to your when I asked you a question about the whole territorial thing, where do you think the dead Sasquatches are, like the bones in that? Because no one can ever find them.
Again, like if you're talking about interdimensional, man, like I don't think that they would manifest into the third dimension. And I know that sounds crazy and woo-woo, but I think they're like of the fifth dimension. So these things, like, you have to be tapped into that frequency to even experience any of their evidence, I guess you could say. But it also depends on like what your perspective of that is.
Now,
I don't know.
No, you're not telling Thomas Steenberg this, because he doesn't believe in the woo at all.
You sure it's not. No, I tried to pitch that to him, and he was like, nope, there's no way. They're ape beasts, and that's all that there is to it. I was like, no, man, there has to be more to it.
I agree. Thomas and I have argued about it. We have. And in good conscience, because he is a good man. He is
absolutely. Yeah, learned a lot from him. Got to see all this cool Bigfoot castings
I know.
and the whole bit.
That's the one. That's one regret I have living in Mission is he invited me over, and I never had time to run over to his place to see all of the Sasquatch castings that he has.
And like all of his like paraphernalia and everything too. Well, when you're coming down for the ATV tour, you can take a stop in to see Thomas. And then you can check out all he has to offer there.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a great source of information if you want to have like the anthropological standpoint of view on the Sasquatch in the Pacific Northwest. He's the guy to go to. Like, he knows his stuff. Oh, yeah. He's got filing cabinets filled with testimonies and pictures and foot castings and everything. Like, really interesting to sit with the man.
Man dedicated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually really enjoy him. We may disagree on the ape thing because I don't believe it's an ape either. But, you know.
Well, there's too many recollections throughout history to even come close to stop at just the principle of the ape. But then again, like anything that we encounter in this world, the very reason if you want to be taken seriously, you need to take all of that, as you say, woo-woo aspect and just show what you can tangibly explain for most people to make it real. So I think this is why he stuck with that approach. But nonetheless, I've stated, there's much more to the creature. Like if you go back to thousands of years ago in the Himalayas, right, where they referred to the Sasquatch as the Yeti. It's a mythical creature that protects the yogis during their pilgrimage, right? It's not just this crazy being. And the reason why I'm transitioning to this is there was also this article I was reading about this woman that she felt a spirit in the forest where she lived her whole life, and like years down the road to come to realize that it was a Sasquatch protecting them when an intruder tried to come at her house, and it chased it away, and she saw its shadow on the porch and whatnot. But the point I'm trying to make, right, is that they're protecting the people. They're not just observing. It's very interesting.
We have Bhima Ji and Kylie from Harrison Lake Nature Adventures joining us with Merle on Ghosts of the Great White North. We got about a minute here before we have to go to break, and so when we come back from the break, what I want to get into is I want to get into your tour. I want to learn about this because this seems so intriguing. Normally, I don't do a lot of promotion type shows, and Merle is the exact same way. Is we try and tell stories, but this type of tour just totally intrigued me, and I want to learn all about it because I'm definitely coming down for it. Definitely. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go for a ride. We're going to go for an adventure. And
run us through your tour next hour.
Yeah. Thanks, Merle.
What was that? Sorry, I didn't catch what you said, Merle.
Run us through your tour next hour. Give us some stories.
Awesome. Will do.
Big question from Mark in the chat room before we go to break. If Merle falls down in the forest, does anyone actually hear Merle fall?
Nobody.
On that note, we're going to go to break here on Spaced Out Radio. Ghosts of the Great White North happens once a month as we kick it off mid-month with my good buddy Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers, paranormalroadtrippers.com. If you want to check him on out, yes, he does exist. He really does. And our special guest tonight from Harrison Lake Nature Adventures, Bhima Ji and Kylie, Sasquatch Tours, next on Spaced Out Radio. I'm looking forward to it. You should too. We'll be right back. Merle, you're taking quite the ribbing in the chat room right now.
That's okay. I'm just being careful with my word. I'm just smiling and nodding.
Oh, we love you, Merle. We love you. All right, guys.
I will address the nation later, FAP. Don't worry about it. We got this.
You guys chat away. I just gotta run my dogs outside.
Oh, you are cutting out again.
I know, because I'm really close to my microphone, seeing what I'm doing right now. Anyways, I'm gonna quickly run my dogs outside.
Still can't hear you.
You just come back.
Okay, there you go. Now I can.
I don't know sign language. I am going to run my dogs outside. I'll be right back.
Cool.
You guys can hang out and talk with Merle and the YouTube crowd.
By the way, Merle, it's a sick T-shirt. UFO T-shirt.
Thank you.
Of course.
So, paranormal experiences, since I'm a paranormal guy, what sort of paranormal experiences have you had?
Since I was a kid, I've been very sensitive to the paranormal. Like, I remember being at my grandma's place and doors opening up and slamming shut and just feeling something. The most recent one, I mean, Harrison Hot Springs is, again, like very high vibrational. So I think that I don't know if it's because I live on my own. So there's more solitude and more, space to tap into this. But I've like woken up in my apartment to feeling something standing by my staircase from a bad dream, and then seeing like a shadow by my staircase. And this has happened a couple of times. But I got a whole pocket full of paranormal experiences, actually.
Wow. That whole area, Harrison, Shahelis, it's supernatural. Like, when I go camping up there, I'm uneasy but relaxed, as weird as that sounds.
For sure.
Well, the, what was it called there? The, not the Dalai Lama, but the, from the Transcendental Meditation there, the Mahesh Yogi, wanted to buy one of the hotels in town and make it a meditation center, but he stated, and they didn't move forward with the project, saying that the Harrison has a very, very good energy, but there is also this dark energy that lurks like in the surroundings. So they decided to go elsewhere. Like,
there's both the light and the shadow side. But I think, again, like with any high vibrational places, like, Merle, have you ever been to Mount Shasta in California?
I have not, but it's actually on my road trip list for this summer, if the COVID gods go.
I know. I was supposed to go back this summer too, but again with COVID, I was there back in January and February. I went to the Tucson Rock and Gem Show, but we stopped in at Mount Shasta, and the energy there, like the vibration is just so high. Immediately my ears went like hot and red, and my ears were ringing, and I felt like I was speaking 1,000 words per minute. But it's the same thing. Like, there's a resonance there with the vibration of Harrison and also Mount Shasta, where there is the potential to tap into the light aspect of it, but there's also, as Bhima was mentioning, like the shadowlistic aspect. But I think that's just like contrasting dualities. But no, and especially like in the Harrison area specifically, like the last 150 years or 150 years ago, that's when the Caribou Gold Rush was making its way through as well. So I think that there's lots of residual energy lingering from that. But
I could see that. Mount Shasta, my friends, actually the ones I was talking about earlier, having the experience in Shahelis.
Yeah.
They experienced that light show that happens at Shahelis. Oh, sorry, Mount Shasta, like the on the mountains, apparently like the UFOs.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that or what it's called, but they experienced the light. The lights.
I think the Lemurians, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no. Because apparently, like, they live inside Mount Shasta because it's like this dormant volcano. But I totally subscribe to that. I mean, I've had my own experiences in Harrison too, like with lights. So that I still, like, to this day, don't know what it was, and it's just like I have an intuition. Definitely a UFO by like the standard definition of like unidentified flying object, but I still like there's still like no rational explanation as to what that was.
Hey, is that Harrison Hot Springs Bigfoot conference still going on, or is it shut down?
You mean like the conference? Do you mean the festival, or? Well,
didn't they used to have a conference there?
I'm actually not sure. I've only been in Harrison for the past 5 years, so since I've been here, I haven't heard of any conference.
Okay.
But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they have the Sasquatch Museum, so I'm sure that there's probably a township that like organizes something in that regard. But we have not yet.
We should do one.
Oh,
Yeah, that would actually do a convention, a Sasquatch convention.
Well, not.
Yeah.
But you know what? Harrison also has a lot of hauntings in the area and UFO sightings. So if we got together and did a straight paranormal conference there, that'd be a good tourism weekend. Promote you guys.
Cool.
Holy shit! Thank you, Big Rob, for the super chat. That is pretty amazing.
Your Merle got you that one.
Merle, thank you. Wow. $50 super chat. Holy cow.
Now imagine how much you'd get if I talked for at least 25% of the show.
My talk. The message. We'll stop talking.
Yeah. Quick question here. Actually, we'll ask you next half hour because our audience always likes to know from our guests a couple of questions. We'll get into that here after we come back from the break at the bottom of the hour. And, God, I'm having a lot of fun with you guys tonight. I know Merle is too. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, same here. Thank you for having us. That's really great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And Merle, we have to talk. I've got some pretty.
Hold on, guys. Here we go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott, and I really appreciate you tuning us in. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do we got tonight here, Clam? Let me find you here. We got Defervescence. Defervescence is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Merle is back from the Paranormal Road Trippers, where we do Ghosts of the Great White North once a month here on the show. And once again, we're having a great time. We're stepping into the world of Sasquatch. From Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia, a hot spot for this mythical creature. From Harrison Lake, natureadventures.com, we have Bhima Ji and Kylie, and we're going to talk about their tour here. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming back.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, Merle.
So I've been looking at your SOR vault where you sell your nice little T-shirts and all that stuff. You're missing.
What are we missing?
You're missing a Merle shirt.
We will make a Merle shirt. I promise you. I have a
by next tour. You know what I mean. Next show.
By next show, there will be Merle T-shirts in the SOR vault.
Me doing the pose, the Merle.
No, we've got something else planned for you, buddy. Something else planned. But we're gonna make. Oh yeah, you'll like it. There might be a couple of them. Oh, I love you, Merle.
You created this monster.
Yes, I'll be honest with you, with the audience and with you guys. Merle is literally one of my best friends in the world, and I absolutely love and adore the guy. Actually, you know, one of my dogs is actually formerly Merle's dog, and Merle needed to rehome him and called me up, and he's like, "Hey, man, do you want my black German Shepherd?" I said, "Yep, bring him up." It's about as hard as it was, eh, Merle?
It was horrible, but it's living conditions in the Lower Mainland, and I still come up and visit him. At least try every 2 months when there's no COVID.
Absolutely, and I love him. He's a good part of our family, and we thank you for him, by the way. Yeah, there was an emotional moment right there. Emotional moment.
Make my shirt.
I will. I'll make your shirt, Merle. For sure. All right, Bhima Ji and Kylie, you guys got this tour going on. Bhima, I want to ask you, my friend, why did you get involved with this? What was the purpose?
To bring back magic I guess would be the simplest reason to say this. The longest version is, well, my day job is I'm in e-commerce and whatnot, and I'm often done midday, and I've got nothing else to do, and I don't like to spend money just for the sake of spending money. So I was trying to figure out what can I do to fill my days, and we came up with the idea of doing some tours in the forest. And there was another guy, like I said earlier, that was doing the Sasquatch tour, and I didn't want to step on his territory, if we want to say it like that, right? But when the guy passed away, the city got in touch with me, and they let me know that there was a void and there was a big demand from the tourist office, and if we could do something about it. And this is really how it got into it. But really, I think in the essence, I was brought to do this, right? The encounter that I experienced in the forest, how everything fell into place. I just think it is time that people get a little bit more magic in their life, and I'm happy that we can offer that.
Kylie, tell us about the tour. Where does it start? How long is it? Go into some detail here.
Yeah, okay. So we have a few different tours that we offer. On the Sasquatch tour, that one is the 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that one is the 4 hours. So we start at the Harrison Lake Cottages, which is an Airbnb resort, basically. That Bhima runs. So that's also where we have the ATV. So we'll hop on there. I'm one of the tour guides. So I'll ride the machine, and we go down the road down to Sasquatch Park. And then from there, we go up East Harrison FSR. And it's beautiful. There's so many waterfalls along the way. You get to see Harrison Lake from an elevated state of being. Really great checkpoints, too, just for local sightings along the way. You can see Shahelis and the Harrison River from these points that we go up to as well, like around Slawlicum. It's amazing. We also offer, we also do hot springs as well. So we can take people up to the Clear Creek Hot Springs, and just to really enjoy and appreciate our environment in Harrison Hot Springs. So
in itself, when we go on the tour, it's not just like a half an hour thing or 1 hour, right? It's from 4 hours to 6 hours, and we can include going to the hot springs. But in itself, the stories that we talk about, right? As we talked earlier about Thomas Steenberg and the Shahelis, we've gathered all of the stories, and I'll let Kylie talk about those, because she's a lot better than I am telling the stories. But they start, like, our tour really starts at the center of town, where we talk about some sighting that happened in Bridal Falls. I'm not sure if you've ever been there. It's not too far from us, from the Harrison Hot Spring. It's a little national park, and there's a lot of sighting that happened there. And then after we take off and we go into the national park, the Sasquatch National Park, and from there we talk about the story we talked a bit earlier, right, where the four individual were waiting for a friend. And from there we transition, and this is, as I mentioned, right, I'm a yoga teacher, and I take my student to one of my favorite spots where it's a lookup on the Hick Lake. Yeah, and from there we have a sighting there.
Yeah. So it's cool, because like we can like point out to the spots like where there are sightings, but also what we do offer on these tours is a chance to really tap into the frequency of. So we'll actually sit there, we'll actually absorb, separate from a commercialistic aspect. Like we'll sit there and we'll actually try to resonate with Sasquatch's energy, and to, see if we can evoke anything within ourselves that will manifest, or whatever the case. So it's actually really special. That's my favorite thing about tour guiding in general, is that I get to, it's an opportunity for me to be a part of like a person's experience in Harrison, like the mysticism and that aspect of it. Growing up in Quesnel, Harrison Hot Springs was always such a special place for me. So I know how it feels when you come here for the first time and you really do immerse yourself in the mysticism, in the folklore, in the, as I keep throwing the hot word out there, interdimensional aspect of it. I think that it's really cool that we can offer that for people. But I mean, we also do offer too, like if people want to talk about the ape aspect of it, I mean, we will definitely, entertain that too, and get into topics with people, because of course we're not absolute about things, but I like to kind of remain open and fluid within it. But anyways, yeah.
So now that we've placed the tour company and whatnot, we'll talk a little bit about the stories itself, right? What some of the locals, and as one of our big sources was Thomas Steenberg has gathered. So this is what we talk about, right? So some of the and I'm just pulling up the stories to go on about it.
Yeah, well, do you know where Silver Creek is, Dave? Like up East Harrison,
Yes.
like FSR?
Yes.
Yeah, so there was actually an incident. This was 2010, it looks like I have written down here. So there was a couple who was staying overnight, and they had their pickup truck. So they brought their dogs with them, a large dog and a smaller dog, and they were sleeping in the back, like in the back underneath the canopy. So in the middle of the night, the wife wakes up. She has to use the washroom, so she brings her bigger dog with her just for security. And all of a sudden, her dog just starts going crazy at something and starts like running off. So finally, she brings her dog back and she composes it, and she goes back. She puts him into the truck, and then she goes back to bed. Of course, she's a little bit on edge with that, but her and her husband fall asleep. And then he asks, "Did you hear that?" So she wakes up, and they're both alert. And something that was taller than that of the pickup truck, which he says an estimate, the one witness must have been about 7 feet tall. They see walk past the side of the truck and then over to the fire that was burning, so the embers, and it was just standing over that for a little bit. They said that, again, estimate of about 10 minutes that the thing had stood there before it took off, at which point he made a whipping sound, and it was received and sent back, and that was kind of the end of that. But so it's cool that we actually get to take people to these specific spots. But again, these specific spots are not exclusive to the phenomena. But yeah, so it's cool.
Have you guys ever tried in these areas putting gifting sites out?
Yep. Oh, like not yet, actually. That's something that maybe upon like further discussion with Rocky, we would feel more comfortable with, but that would be cool. You mean like food offerings, right?
No, for instance, I have 2 gifting sites up here.
Oh, okay.
And I don't use food because of the wild animals, but I do use toys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And we've had some interesting happenings around that, and in an area where Merle, myself, and our good friend Little Marky Spender got chased out of a couple of years ago by what we believe to be a couple of Sasquatch.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, at Flight 21 crash site.
Okay, cool.
Yes. And so we've had that happen, and we've got a gifting site up there in another place where 4 years ago we found a couple of different size prints, but that one has kind of got a little... I think they moved out of that area ever since the forest fires. So that has been kind of one. But I would suggest trying it in certain areas, like not everywhere, because you don't want to put them along the road where, campers or hikers or
For sure.
or anybody's going to find them. But in areas where you've had there have been recorded sightings, I would seriously look at trying this out for if you're already doing the meditation in trying to make communication with the creature, which I do believe works, by the way. I would look at the gifting site as well for that area.
That's an interesting idea. I've never thought about it. Have you did they interact with your gift in any sort of ways?
We're investigating one now, except with the snow that's fallen, I don't know if we could get back in there, but we have a strange case of a nickel. A nickel. And my good friend Mark, and Merle's good friend Mark, he's in the chat room tonight under Timber Hunter. And his daughter put a 1960s nickel in this area way off the trail, and right where we put our latest gifting site to see what would happen. The next week we went out there, the nickel was gone. Now, granted, could be a squirrel, could be a chipmunk, could be a raven or a crow. But the interesting part was 2 weeks after that, on this little plastic orb that we have, it looks like a plastic, giant plastic sucker. A big purple orb about the size, just smaller than a tennis ball. And I have that sticking out of the tree. And my son, when we went there, said, "Dad, what's this coin balancing on there?"
No way.
And it wasn't the original nickel. It was a 2019 nickel sitting on top of that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, I mean,
Wow.
could it have been human? And I was talking to Science Bob about it, our resident scientist here, and he made a lot of sense with that. And he said, "Dave, a human being isn't going to put a nickel on there because with the weather conditions of the wind, the rain, the sleet, the snow, that's going to fall off. People always look for safety. How is this going to be seen? They're not going to put it on there. So the question is, how, who, or what put it on this ball?" And then,
well, it's definitely synchronicity.
Yeah, and then we have you go to the dollar store, you buy those hand-size rubber balls. I got a basketball, and I put it out there, and I may have got fingerprints.
Oh.
Yeah. I got pictures of it, but it was weird because whatever it was on the ball was so greasy, it wiped off like anything. I didn't mean to wipe it off. I actually tucked it to my jacket while I was trying to get my phone ready, and then I lifted it up, and it was gone. Nate Foote, who is a Bigfoot researcher at Washington State, he says they have greasy handprints. So that might be what it is. But I did get the photograph of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like with a hunting cam?
No, I'll send you the pictures.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to make that communication. Let me ask you this, Kylie. When you're doing the meditation regarding trying to make communication, what are you guys going through?
So we sit there and we take in our environment and we focus on our breathing, and really it's just a focus of centering self. And then from that, you also set in the intention as well as what you want to connect into. So that's how we kind of go through that. So we sit there, we do Kriya breathing, and then Bhima will do the yoga aspect of it as well. So he'll kind of guide us through, but it's more or less just getting into a state of being or a frequency where you're open and receiving. Because I think that if you go in there with any kind of apprehension or any kind of fear, it completely blocks the experience. And I think that it keeps you in a lower state of vibration. Like fear is a low vibration aspect in and of itself too. So in order to set into a higher vibration or higher frequency where you can tap into these things, you need to raise your vibration. So breathing's a great way to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And in our meditation, we create this space for this phenomenon to occur, right? We say without any perception, without any preconceived idea. Because if you go out, for myself, I haven't been and quote unquote Sasquatch hunting with anyone, but if I look at any online videos about the people doing it, right, they're all going in with this preconceived ideas, and they're coming on about it as a prey predator, and I think it's creating this sort of a tension in between the two worlds, where this is why I don't believe that anyone in that approach will ever be able to get in contact with them or see them, because they won't allow that to happen. But when we sit in meditation, we're not going out and expecting to see anything. We're just creating a space, and then if within that space they choose to manifest themselves, then it is conducive to what I would hope to be a peaceful encounter.
Very true. Very true. So you're trying to connect with the spiritual aspect of the creature. Now, when you have people on your tour, do they buy into that?
Almost like anything, right? Some people will enjoy and will dive into this universe, and some other will just shut it out completely, right? They'll put their barriers up, and they'll even like mock even the idea of entertaining, that they could be anything else, even like just to accept that they exist. It's becoming now more and more popular because of the mainstream and the internet and all the reports coming out, but it is still very hard for some people to accept, and now to indulge into the idea that it could be either interdimensional. Some of them will just shut it off completely, but that's all right, right? We're just there to show, and if all they enjoyed was a good sunny day or hot springs out of it, then we're happy.
Absolutely. I got a question from Bomber, who is she's way out in Nova Scotia, I believe.
Oh, a friend from back east.
Yes. And we got about 3 minutes here. She is asking, have any of you tried playing musical instruments in the woods, like a flute, whistle, harmonica, or a drum? If not, would that be something that you would consider doing?
Yeah. So Steve Turnbull from the Happy Prospector, he actually told me that he would go up into Shahelis with a singing bowl, his Tibetan singing bowl, and he would play it up there. And he said that he would tap into he said that he would feel like an energy shift that would take place. And they would hear, like, I mean, there was one instance too where him and his friend, they were sleeping over in a tent, and they heard, like, again, trees crashing down. So that's as far as we know with that. But definitely, I think that it would be interesting to bring up singing bowls and chings with us up into the mountains. I would love to do that.
Yeah, because like I said, we're mainly focused on the experience, and this is something that we've contemplated during, like, for myself, before COVID. I used to have every week I would hold a group meditation, and with in yoga philosophy we have what is called satsang, right, where we repeat mantras, and we entertain the idea of bringing this into the tour. But then again, it really depends who
Exactly.
the group we're with, right? Because now we're really diving into not only the idea of, but now we're really like indulging into
The realm.
the realm of that fifth dimension, and I'm not sure how well it would be received from anyone, but it's a very good idea from your listener right there.
I do got to say, though, that we have been pretty lucky in that a lot of, like, awakened people have been coming on our tours, so it's been pretty, like,
yeah, actually,
it's been nice being able to converse with everybody.
Yeah, that's it. We get a lot of good people, some with an interesting idea from all over the world. It's really interesting. Obviously, now they're all Canadian bound because of COVID, but they're all from all over the province, and some were from France and whatnot, and very enlightened, very open-minded. Like, we didn't get a lot of closed-minded people, just a few of them, but even there, we've been like they've been really nice with us.
Yeah, we're just there to plant seeds and have fun with everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyways, though, yes, love the music idea for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely try it. And if you could get a spiritual blessed drum from the Shahelis band, that works too. My daughter actually made me one for Christmas last year, and she was told that as long as it's blessed, they may come. They may come.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. That might be something you want to try out.
Well, next summer, how about we do a satsang ceremony on a mountaintop?
I'm there.
Right?
I am so there. So there. Everyone, hold on. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We have Ghosts of the Great White North with our main man, Merle, from the Paranormal Road Trippers, hanging on out with us. He's a man of many words. He may talk the next half hour if he wants to. And we have Bhima Ji and Kylie. They are the owners of Harrison Lake Nature Adventures, Sasquatch Tours. We'll learn more about it right after this. Clear.
There you go.
All right, Bhima and Kylie, we need you to answer one at a time here because we ask every new guest this on the show. And that is, what is your opinion of eating breakfast foods for dinner?
I love it.
I'm a big pancake gal, so yeah, for sure.
Well,
no?
This interview's over. This interview's over.
You can't trust us now? We like breakfast for dinner?
You guys would probably steal popsicles from children.
Well, I mean, it's really hot out. Oh, that's funny.
What is the white flavored popsicle for freezing? What would you call that flavor?
Oh, it's soda pop. You know, like that cream soda?
7-Up.
No, the cream soda. It's like it usually has a pinkish label.
You may have solved my mystery of 38 years with that.
Go check it out. Give me your address. I'll send you a box.
Please do.
Enlightening.
All right, Dave, where do you want to go next half hour?
I don't know. We're just talking some Bigfoot here, man. We're talking some Bigfoot, you know, and yeah. So both you jerks eat breakfast for dinner. So that's unimpressive. And let's see what else.
I'll even add some ice cream on top of it.
Is salad a side dish or a garnish?
It's a side dish.
Yeah, it's a side
Okay,
dish.
for the record, breakfast for dinner is not the everyday thing. It's like a celebration. It's like, heck yeah, I want some pancakes.
There's a reason why they call it breakfast for breakfast food. When is breakfast? Breakfast is in the morning. That's when that food is supposed to be eaten there, except bacon. Bacon is universal.
Do you eat pizza?
When is pancakes just exclusive to breakfast food? Tell me that.
Well, you're not preaching on the right choir for that. We're vegetarians.
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, hold on. There's strike 2. All right. The next question that we have is we ask every guest, do you remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember Devil's Tower where the aliens land?
Somewhat. It's been a very long time.
All right. Do you believe it's a tree stump of life, or are you on Team Rock that you think it's a rock buildup?
No, it is a tree stump of life.
Yeah. Yeah. Team Stump.
Is that redemption?
Well, it's half redemption. It's half redemption. We do have to work on this whole breakfast for dinner bullshit, though.
Dave, do you eat pizza for breakfast?
It's universal food, like bacon, of course.
Yeah.
Leftover pizza's the best.
For sure, and especially when it's cold.
How about cold Chinese food? That's a big debate for a lot of people.
I like cold Chinese food. I do, but only for lunch and dinner.
I like it for breakfast.
Think about your meal timings.
Merle, you're all sorts of crazy today, man. All sorts of crazy.
Yeah, I am. Where are my shirts?
I told you I will make your shirts. You know?
Good.
Yeah. Gonna put a big picture of little Marky Spender on the back too. Fap says, I'm gonna plug Dave's nose and feed him an omelet at 8 p.m. on our Vegas trip. You dirty bastard. Dirty bastard.
Did you know I don't like pancakes?
Really?
Why?
Except for Dave's. I like Dave's pancakes, Jolene's pancakes.
Okay, so that's strike 2 for you guys then.
I love pancakes. Hold on. Don't throw me into that field. I love pancakes.
I've been dishing up pancakes like frequently the past couple of weeks here. For breakfast, though. For breakfast.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. Merle, you just lost a lot of respect for making that comment about pancakes.
It's okay.
Luckily, the t-shirt makes up for it, Merle. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. Yep. Have you heard Sasquatch talk yet?
Talk? No.
No,
I did hear.
I told you the story earlier, Bhima. So Kylie, have you heard Sasquatch talk?
I've not. I've heard like the whooping again, like the whistling, but that's the extent of it.
Merle and I actually heard Sasquatch talking.
No way.
Like literally right in front of us. It was insane. It was absolutely insane.
Do the sound,
What
Dave.
did it
Do it.
sound like?
Sounds like.
I've heard that too. Like I've looked it up before, and it's
hold
like
on here. Hold on. Past the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you so much for tuning us in. My name is Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. I want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we are talking Sasquatch in British Columbia. From HarrisonLakeNatureAdventures.com, we have Bhima Ji and Kylie, and of course, it's that time of the month again where we welcome in the man, the myth, and the legend of Merle from Paranormal Road Trippers. Everyone, welcome back.
Thank you. FAP just donated $10 to the Merle Shirt Fund.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. The Merle Shirt Fund will take place very soon. Hey, I do have to ask you guys, because Merle may speak a little bit more this half hour. We're not sure yet. It all depends if he feels comfortable. What we will talk about here is the paranormal aspect of Sasquatch. Now, on these tours that you guys are holding for, any type of history regarding the sightings around Harrison Lake, have you ever established any connection between these sightings and paranormal activity, which the Harrison River and the Harrison Lake is a very paranormal place?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, again, like with the with the transformation swirl going down the Harrison River too, that does again bring in like the kind of spiritual aspect to it. So that is to me, I would define that as paranormal. Like you're tapping into your soul's transcending into this sigil into the next dimension or whatever it is. But given that Sasquatch, like in my idea of what it is, I think that it definitely does frequent along that spectrum of paranormal. But yeah.
Plus, we can't stay idle, right? Because before this whole tourism development of Harrison that happened in the 1800s, this area was very rich in a culture for the Shahelis and the like I've heard recollection of the Sasquatch meeting every 4 years for spiritual ceremony, right in Harrison West. Plus everything that has happened, the area is so rich with stories that we have to make the connection, right? We can't just think it's a cryptozoology experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So have you noticed, though, since you started this tour, that the paranormal aspect has picked up not only for the tour, but for you two as well?
Oh, you mean like taking home like what you've been
just having ghosts and spirits around?
Oh man, like ever since I was a kid, I've had ghosts and spirits around. I've definitely been more sensitive to it. I moved into my own apartment this last year. I moved into my own apartment, and being I was explaining this to Merle, being in a more solitary environment and being just more with my own energy, I started to become, I think, more sensitive to what was going on around me. There were no distractions or whatever else. So I don't know if that's like a manifestation of my own inner world and like my own self-exploration and learning from my shadows and everything else. I don't know if that was a projection of that or what, but I've definitely had my own experiences. As far as with Sasquatch goes, I haven't had any paranormal happenings happening up in the mountain quite yet, but I'm definitely on idle for something to happen, because I'm sure that I will, given my sensitivity, experience something. But yeah, so nothing as of yet from me, but I'm not sure about Bhima.
Well, for myself, I mean, the paranormal has always been present in my life. I remember once a few years ago, we were out at a restaurant with for my father-in-law's birthday, and I had a security system, like a homemade security system that I had rigged up in my house, where I had some cams all over the place, and it started to trigger some warnings telling me that there was some movement. And I'll send you the pictures because I have them on my Facebook profile. A paranormal show from Quebec actually contacted me, asking me to do a piece on that. Anyways, so we're in the restaurant, and I'm starting to get those messages with those pictures. And at first, the picture were empty. There was nothing. It was just telling me that there was movement in the house. You would see the red square of the camera trigger, but sorry, the red square of the camera trigger, but nothing was in focus. Nothing was to be seen. And then after a few minutes, we started to get those pictures of shadows going up the stairs, and I remember, like, we freaked out, like, we're like, who's in the house, right? What are those shadow? And we turned around, and the waitress got so scared of the pictures that she ended up being in the corner of the restaurant, and she wanted, like, when I got close to go see if she was okay, she's like, no, stay away. Like, she was very scared of what was happening. And we later found out that it was because my father contacted a medium, and the entity was named Bob, and he was there for a long time. And to leave him alone, and if we were to leave him alone, then he would leave us alone. So I declined the show to come and investigate my property. But yeah, he was present, like, on our place for a long time. I even had an employee that was working in the garage, and it would scare him because he would hear some loud bangs, and all you would hear, because we'd be in the house a few hundred feet away, it's like, it's okay, Bob, it's only me. And he was just trying to soothe himself because he was so scared. But yeah, so the paranormal always been a part of my life, and I can't say that we've been experiencing more. Again, just because we're open to it, and we're making it available. So yeah, it doesn't need to force its presence.
Definitely. Merle.
I want to go back onto the Bigfoot. I wanted to ask this last segment to you, Dave, actually, with your gifting sites, because we've talked about this before. You say that you've had movement at the gifting sites, and I also want our guests to chime in on this too, is using trap cams or even dash cams in the bush to see if they will capture Bigfoot. You say no, but I say yes. Why do you say no to it?
Why do I say no to trail cams?
Yes, with Bigfoot.
Oh, I don't say no to them.
We've debated that. You said that the whole IR light thing.
Well, it is weird because there are a number of people out there who believe that Sasquatch has the ability to sense the technology that is out there. I mean, we did a test with a trail cam at the current site where we were getting some weird interaction right at first. We put up a trail cam, and we had it up there for 7.5 days, and the only photos on there were us bringing it in and setting it up, and us coming back to pick it up. There was nothing in between. There was no rabbits, no birds, no deer, no cats, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You say that, like, Sasquatch is, I think, telekinetic, so yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but he knows that you're reaching for that camera, so there's going to be some disturbance, maybe.
I agree. I totally agree, but you got to try.
Yeah, for sure. I actually have a UFO story, too, if it's cool that I share that. Like, similar to the same nature, I went to take a video of it. And then after the fact, I got back home. I went to show my parents and my excitement of what I had seen. And there was maybe 5 seconds at the beginning of the video, which basically just showed my dashboard. But there were, in Harrison Hot Springs, when I first moved here about 5 years ago, I was working at the Harrison Resort briefly, and I was doing night maid shifts. So I was doing housekeeping at that time. And I'd already known, given the history of the Harrison Hotel, it goes back to the late 1800s, but this building, the main building, was built in the early 1920s, I believe it was, after the first building burnt down. But there was lots of paranormal activity. And even my Aunt Debbie, who is just very closed off to that realm of being, so that she's had her own experiences. So I took it pretty seriously. So anyway, so all of that was going on. But then at the end of my shift, which was at 11 p.m., I was driving home when one of the other workers said he was biking back to Agassiz, which on a bike, like between Harrison and Agassiz, is probably like a 35 to 40-minute bike ride. And this kid was like 16, so I gave him a ride home. And as we're driving, we're going past the Sasquatch bench, and we look up in the sky over the Harrison golf course, and we see 6 low-flying white orbs slowly move over the road one by one. So we pulled over and we watched this going on maybe 5 minutes. I passed by, but one by one, they would each go over the road, blink in and out, and then just disappear. And then I tried to get that all on tape, and I was so confident that I had it all on tape, and I was so excited. And just like, wow, but also like I've had experiences like this before. So not specifically like that, but of the extraterrestrial realm of being. So when I got back home, yeah, there was like no footage. So
gotta love them aliens when they take that away from you.
Yeah, man, they're camera shy. It's crazy.
Well, again, if it's all a question of manifestation and whatnot, to be able to see, we need to have the equipment tuned to the proper spectrum to be able to capture their presence, right? Anyways, that's my philosophy. Just as Sasquatch, as a UFO in itself, I have more of a perception of a vibrational existence rather than just being a steel a ship that physically that you can take pictures of, in my opinion, anyways.
It's like a spirit.
Yeah.
So getting back to the tour in regards to the people who are coming, what kind of people are you attracting with this?
Well, mainly families so far and friends. Well, actually, it is surprising the people that we attract. Like, we expected to attract the Sasquatch enthusiasts, but in reality, that's not happening. Like any Sasquatch enthusiast that respect himself is already geared up and ready to go camping for a few nights, right? So they're not going to come on a tour, but we are getting a lot of friends coming, like groups of friends and families, some young kids, people on vacation. We even got a few people over 70s that came to do a few tours. That was interesting, and they actually came back a few weeks later.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that the age is changing, that a lot more older people are now coming in with an open mind and an open concept, rather than just the younger people who are like, man, I just want to see a Sasquatch experience and let's do this?
Yeah,
for sure. Because I mean, now the openness, right? It becomes part of the collective consciousness, where it's not something like, oh, well, that person's a hippie, spaced out, and loves everyone, right? It's it's part of our culture where before we can cast an opinion, we should listen to the whole story. So yeah, people are very open and inquisitive about the phenomenon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have the internet out there now too. It's just like a well of resources. So I think that people are a lot more exposed to the realm of possibility of things. And then it also talking about more of the spiritualistic or paranormal aspect of things too. You're a lot more introduced to it, so you feel more comfortable, and then you kind of start to explore that through your own self as well. So I think that there's a lot of that going on too. Yeah.
When you guys are hanging out and doing the tours, how many people are going on this tour at the same time? Because you are using ATVs.
Correct. We're using side by side, and each machine can hold up to uh, 5 guests with plus the operator, so 6 people maximum. But we like to keep it around 4 guests per machine, so there's enough room to breathe and move around.
Right. So, I mean, who drives the machines? Do you guys have people who do that?
Yeah, we have a tour operator, myself and Kylie, and for the upcoming season next summer, we're going to have a few additions to our team. We're friends and family, a brick and mortar company, right? So my son and daughter are going to help us out, and my wife as well. And yeah, it's all friend and family business.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you take people out, do you ever get the skeptical people out there who are like, this is just crap, I'm just here because, my friend wants to come with, I don't believe in any of this stuff?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely, in any community of people, you're going to get like dissonance, right? But I think that there's still like a little bit of the curiosity. I mean, regardless of the ego that they placed behind it, there was still some sort of a breadcrumb trail that led them to wanting to go on these tours. So I think that it's almost that they're scared of the possibility, but they still want to experience that. So maybe what they're projecting is dissonant, but maybe they have some other, I don't know, questions that they're trying to.
Yeah, usually they stay more quiet, right?
Yeah.
They stay in their corner. But as we said, we're pretty lucky, and we're pretty upbeat, right? Well, we really enjoy what we're doing. We really enjoy our work, right? At the end of the day, we're playing with side by side with people talking about Sasquatch in the forest. I mean, it's
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. We can't ask anything better. So even when we get the odds ones that are closed off, we're not really paying attention to that. You want to be closed off, that's all right. You've got so much more to see, right?
Sure,
because we are talking about the Sasquatch, but other than that, we're going to be eating about 100 kilometers of trail riding. We're going to reach altitude of 5,000 feet, looking over the whole Harrison Lake and the islands and the scenery and the valleys and everything that you can encounter. So even if the Sasquatch is not for you, the tour in itself is like really fun. And then for when there's no kids in the tour, we take them up to a special place, and we take out a little table with some wine and cheese, and then we talk some more of the stories, and we get more into depth into the Sasquatch and whatnot. But in itself, the people's been like I said, really, really nice. We've been really lucky with that.
I think it's just like a matter of not attaching to the negative. So it just becomes more of like a personal practice. Like I've been doing tour guiding in the area for the past 4 years now, and I mean, it's more or less just a softening and understanding as well, like where these people's reservations come from. So it's not a reflection on Sasquatch or if it's a real thing. I think it's more or less just how people, what they're projecting outward.
How much does a tour cost?
Tour costs per person, per adult, it's 185, and then for children is 125. And like we said before, it's a 4 to 6 hour tour, and it fills a whole day. Like by the time you're done, you're beat up. Often on the way back from the tour, we'll have a few people sleeping in the back.
Now, is there hiking involved? Because I got to figure out whether or not I'm taking this.
Dave, we're taking the tour and you're going to hike. You're going to walk.
I'm not hiking. I refuse.
Great hiking. You'll be great.
Oh yeah, you'll be in great hand with Kylie. But there is a portion of the tour where we go on a small 5-minute hike. Like it's really not hard. It's 5 minutes, but it's well worth it. Yeah. But the view that you get from that 5-minute hike is unbelievable. It's breathtaking, and it's well worth it. I even had a couple that when they book, they put in the comments like no walking. I was like, well, that's all right, we're not walking, we're hiking. And when we reached the top of the mountain, like the lady that was like totally against the whole walking thing was really happy that she did it and saw that view, right? So
yeah, we got those 70-year-olds up there. We'll get you up there too.
Yeah, that's it.
No. No. But we'll see. We'll see. But, as we got about 4.5 minutes here before we go to break at the top of the hour, for people who may not know where Harrison Hot Springs is, Kylie, give us a description of how people can get there.
Okay, so if anybody knows where Vancouver is in British Columbia, which I'm sure most people do, it's about an hour and a half with the traffic being none. So probably about 2 hours, actually, with that said. East of Vancouver. So you're in the valley, right by Chilliwack in Agassiz area.
In the Fraser Valley.
Yeah, in the Fraser Valley. Yeah,
Yes.
Beautiful for anybody who's not been here. Again, like Harrison Hot Springs is just, it holds such a special place in my heart. So I'm very blessed that I get to frequent here and work here and get to share that with people and explore that. But yeah.
For any doomsday prepper, Harrison Hot Spring is actually a heaven. We're protected and surrounded by the Rockies, and the entrance of town, there's only one road that comes in and out of town. So actually in a disaster, it would be disastrous to experience that. But that being said, you come into the town from a very nice little road. You've got mountains on both sides, some farmlands. And then after you get into town, you get greeted by Steve, our local Sasquatch that is on the bench. You can go take a picture with him, right? He's always happy for that. Town, our booking office, if you're not booking online, our booking office is right in the center of town at the local market.
Are you by the ice cream shop?
Well, yeah, actually, I would say 100 feet from Chantilly's, the ice cream shop. Really good place. They've got some crazy flavors.
They got 40 flavors there. It's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a question for you quickly here. Ice cream for breakfast?
Ice cream is universal.
Okay,
there you go.
Okay.
Ice cream is universal. Merle, are you alive or are you just, hanging out?
Just hanging out, but I was going to make a comment about ice cream. Not an ice cream fan.
Not an ice cream fan.
Really?
Leave it. If I didn't have it ever again, I'm okay.
Merle, I think that's 3 strikes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, same here.
Hold on a second here, Merle. We're just going to put another strike by your name here.
Do you want to keep quiet still? I can keep quiet.
Well, I mean, you've already insulted pancakes. Now ice cream.
I said Jolene's were good.
Yeah.
The Dutch ones.
Those are crepes.
No, they're, you know which ones I mean, Dave.
Yeah, not the crepes. Not the crepes.
Huh.
So anyways, back to Sasquatch. Dirty Filth wants to know, Merle, are you a fan of Nanaimo bars? Because he is not a fan of Nanaimo bars.
I love Nanaimo bars. And there's also a new drink, alcohol, Nanaimo bar flavored. It's a rum. It's fantastic.
Yes. Really?
Yes.
Oh, my. Oh, my. I did not know this. I did not know this. Yeah, Dirty Filth, for some reason, he doesn't like Nanaimo bars. And he's in Edmonton, though, so that makes a lot of sense. They can't even name a football team. But nonetheless.
Do they even have a football team?
Does anybody in Canada have a football team right now?
No.
No, unfortunately, we don't. Thanks, COVID. Thank you, COVID. I appreciate that. All right, we got 40 seconds here before we go to break here. Merle, I'm going to let you take us out here.
You want me to take you out here now, eh?
Well, we got 30 more. We got 30 more minutes with Bhima and Kylie from Harrison Lake Adventure or NatureAdventures.com. You know what, Merle? I got this. You just
don't let me talk. Keep going.
No,
Dead air.
Dead air. It's all about dead air. No, Nanaimo bars do not suck, Shane. That's terrible language in our chat room right now. Terrible language. And, we're fans of Nanaimo bars here. This is a Nanaimo bar-friendly zone here on Spaced Out Radio. Merle joins us with Ghosts of the Great White North. He comes in once a month to hang on out, talk everything weird, strange, and fabulous, because he loves the word fabulous around here. He's from the Paranormal Road Trippers, and we're going to continue on with Bhima Ji and Kylie with Harrison Lake NatureAdventures.com in Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia, talking Sasquatch. And then, at the bottom of hour number 3, we'll get to the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned. More Spaced Out Radio coming up after this. We're clear.
We are clear.
Awesome.
Mark Spender threatening to shoot me in the leg, so that way he could get away because, usually when he's in the forest, his gout flares up.
He's got to get that gout under control every time.
Every time. Yep, every time. You guys chat away. I'm going to take a break here. I'll be right back.
Awesome.
It's been a really good show. I usually talk a little more during our shows, but you guys have been really good guests with the stories.
Oh, well, I'm happy that you guys enjoy. We were afraid that we wouldn't give enough information or yeah.
No, it's good. Last half hour, when we're back on, what would you guys like to talk about? We kind of like to give the last half hour to the guest and focus on.
Oh, wow. I haven't thought about that at all. Well, I'm always open to the paranormal and the spirituality in itself, right?
Conscious aspect of it.
Yeah, consciousness is a big factor in our everyday life.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
With your tours, this was a question I was going to ask the last half hour, but we're asking now. Because I do a lot of paranormal tours down here in Surrey. And I find there's a lot of hagglers or people that are only there to kind of make fun or automatically not believe.
Yeah, to make a farce of it, right?
Yeah, and then like that, speaking of energy, that energy like puts a big stick in the spoke of the bike, so to speak.
Like a hearing of that.
Yeah.
Do you guys find that on your tours too? Like you'll get people saying stupid things about Bigfoot, and
find people that are like that in any kind of community. But what can help from stepping into that space is just not giving power to it. So like if a person starts to like make a farce of what I'm sharing with them, then I allow them to be in their energy while still respecting my own and carrying on with what I'm talking about. So I think it's just more or less just a navigating of other people's conversation cues or whatever the case, right?
Yeah, well, we're pretty oblivious, right? Is when I step back, sometimes like I remember some comments that can come up from some of the guests, but we're so oblivious to that perception that we're not even paying attention. And if someone wants really to be a heckler, in myself, like I have no patience for that for whatsoever. It's I'm gonna just say have yourself a good day and let them be on their way. But other than that, it's
I see it as a challenge. When a person's like that with me, I kind of just like I continue in my energy and within my own space, and then I just kind I keep working towards that smile at the end of it.
Oh, for sure. Yes. I mean, just think because the question was, and if they tell me if I'm wrong, but are we getting hecklers, and are they putting a damp into like the whole group? But right now, also because of the whole COVID situation, is whenever we're leaving with a group, we're leaving with that private group in itself, like the family bound or friend bound. We're not adding any other guests to the group because of the COVID situation.
Yeah.
And do you guys still getting a lot of tours during COVID right now?
Actually, Bhima was mentioning earlier too. So I was surprised with how Harrison's has been doing this past season, just because I mean, it really is like a seasonal village. Like the economy really boosts in the summertime, and then it slows right down in the winter. And usually we get a really large number of people in from Washington State coming through. So we were a little bit worried about how the economy would do with that said, but because people aren't able to travel internationally, or they are wanting to stay closer to home, or maybe they've had the space to actually be able to enjoy their backyard. It's been fruitful for us in that respect. So it's been good that people are just wanting to get outside, and everybody's been cooped up indoors. So
yeah, that, and we're pretty lucky because we own and operate a like vacation rentals, some cottages on the Miami River in town, and so that's giving us a continuous flow of guests of interest, people that want to do the tour. And in town, I mean, Harrison Lake is beautiful, and we're working very, very hard to bring new activities and stuff to do. But in all honesty, it is a town that is lacking stuff to do. So when we came in and we offered those tours in an exciting way, incorporating the ATVs and all of that, we filled a void that was really needed in town, where people come up and after going twice around the lakefront, there's nothing else to do. So on that aspect, we've been doing very good.
Good. Yeah.
Awesome. We've got just over a minute left before we come back.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Filth has now taken the whole hatred of Nanaimo bars to Twitter. That's not cool.
Oh boy.
Is it trending? It's trending on Twitter.
Mr. Merle's trending. You know what? You know what your guests should do every third Wednesday of the month?
What's that?
Whenever you say the word Merle, they take a shot.
Oh, I'm sure they already do. Mm-hmm.
Take a shot of the Nanaimo whiskey.
Oh yeah.
That'd be good.
Or was it rum? Was it rum or whiskey? It was whiskey, right?
It's a rum.
I like Fap's comment. Merle has a strict word limit by the government. It's not his fault.
I can't help it, man. You know how it is.
Well, you are righteous. You are righteous. That's for sure.
Oh. Someone Moon does not approve.
Well, you know,
That's
he has a third nipple, so you just have to be careful. Here we go.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio, along with KPNL. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Defervescence. Defervescence is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we introduce Merle from Ghosts of the Great White North and Paranormal Road Trippers, and tonight our special guests are from the Harrison Lake Nature Adventures. Their website, harrisonlakenatureadventures.com. From Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia, we have Bhima Ji and tour guide Kylie on their Sasquatch tours. How cool is that?
Yo.
Yeah, welcome back.
Hi there.
Hi. Okay, I got to ask you, Kylie, we're going to start with you on this one. Sorry, Bhima. What would happen if all of a sudden you actually came across a Sasquatch during your tour?
Ooh, I think it's kind of hard to say because, I mean, when fight or flight really kicks in, but so I've noticed so far in this last year, like this year I've gotten out and hiked more than I ever have in my life. And I've run into a cougar, I've run into bears, and the one thing that I've noticed, my behavior between that was that I've remained cool and collected. And I kind of go into this state where I'm like, hey, like, we need to navigate around this. So I think that I would probably carry with it the same aspect. Because, of course, I mean, whether or not it's interdimensional or you refer to it as a deity or not, it's still something that is completely foreign to what you're used to encountering, right? And there's a huge question as to what its behavior really would be face to face or whatever the case. But yeah, so just to remain grounded, I think would be how I would respond to that. Hopefully that's how I would respond to that. And to reach for my camera.
Bhima, how about you? How do you think you would react to actually encountering one of these creatures?
With the perception I have today, and hopefully, like, taking under consideration that they would be a pacifist and conscious, I think I would more indulge in the experience and just see if I could open a mean of communication, that being telepathically or in a physical way. But I would try to see if I can communicate with the being, and then if I'm able to communicate, then obviously I would try to learn as much as I can in the time that I would have available. But yeah, I hope that would be my reaction. But then again, as Kylie just mentioned, fight or flight, I could very well revert to a 5-year-old boy and be myself and start running, right? Because I also read a lot of recollection of some big ass man just and just saying, well, I've lost control of my whole bowel movement, right? So yeah, that could happen too.
Like when your spirit leaves your body in that moment.
Exactly.
It just jumps out.
You know, but that's something you guys have to think of and prepare for. Because if all of a sudden, say, something did happen where, you know, you have a group of, say, 12 people who are, you know, in this, I mean, there's a lot of things that they may do. They may run after the creature thinking that this is staged. I know with my own ghost tour that we did at the museum up here, but haven't done a tour this year because of COVID. The idea, and we always got asked every tour whether or not this was staged. So how do you prepare for that?
Well, before every tour, we have a safety and security portion of the tour where we talk about how to behave in any given situation that we believe we might encounter, such as, and now we're more referring usually when we talk about this as bear, but the Sasquatch obviously applies to it, that if we do come into contact, we ask the people to come close to us, stay behind us, and let us take control. And we've done some bear, how can I say this, bear encounter, how to, like, protocol, how to react and whatnot. And from our studies and from the information that was available, well, it's to make ourselves the less threatening as itself. So if we're talking about within the group, then we'd all bow down and we'd talk in very soft voice, get back into the machine. But I would certainly not encourage like to be forthcoming and try to take some pictures and whatnot, for not wanting to trigger something, right? The same thing with the bear. I wouldn't be comfortable with my guests taking pictures of the bear. Let's get back in the machine, then you can take some pictures.
Yeah, and you do have to have strict rules and guidelines on that, because not only for their safety, but for insurance purposes as well, I would assume.
Oh, yeah. And that being said, we are fully bonded, and we follow some strict rules. Like I said, we have a safety and security portion of the tour and a waiver acknowledge sheet that they have to sign.
Merle.
I was just thinking about if I ever was to see Bigfoot, how I would react.
I'm curious how to react too.
He ran. That's what he did. He ran. When the creature was like 20 feet in front of him, he ran like a schoolgirl chasing down Justin Timberlake.
I wouldn't say a schoolgirl. I'd say a football star.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying.
The scream had something to do with it. The scream had something to do with it.
The power jog. But Nate Rudd asked a question about using an SLS camera on Bigfoot, like at a gifting site or something like that. The idea of using the SLS camera to try and map out Bigfoot would be fantastic. But with your SLS camera, you only get about 8 to 15 feet leeway, like, well, with my SLS camera anyways, up to 15 feet maximum, where you map out figures. So I don't know if you would get 15 feet close to Bigfoot, or if you would just leave your SLS camera set up to a little power source overnight with it recording. But I think the idea of using it is fantastic.
Okay. So what kind of technology do you guys use in order to film these events? Are you filming with GoPros just in case something is caught on camera?
Yeah, well, we do have GoPros and a camera system installed on the UTV. And we're also equipped with drones that over time we're hoping to incorporate this into the tour to be able to do to dive deeper into the bushes and still offer the experience to such people that don't want to hike, right? They can put the virtual goggles on and then experience the surrounding, and then we can hopefully catch a glimpse of the beast.
Oh, wow. Wow. So,
yeah,
getting back to the fact that, you have this technology, you guys are prepared. You haven't seen one on the tour yet. Have you found any type of distinctions or markings at different times of year during the tour that have become noticeable? Because I notice that when I go out into the forest to my area, there are certain signs that we are looking for, whether it's footprints, whether it's markings on trees, or what have you. Are you looking for that kind of stuff too?
yeah, yes, we are. And so far, what we've seen, no footprints as of yet, but we will encounter the oddly log that will fall like right in the middle of the road from a healthy tree or something that will always bring questioning. That or the other day on the trail, I found a boulder in the middle of the road that was very odd. It didn't have any tumbling or whatnot. So again, that will bring a puzzle. But so far, that's what we've experienced.
Mm-hmm. Kylie, pardon me, with you and going on the tour here, the safety of people is always first and foremost. We talked about some of the rules that you guys have set up for the tour, but what happens? People, if this creature did come out, may have some sort of panic. How do you prepare for that?
I think just to, I think that, I mean, of course, there's a thing like herd immunity, but I think there's also like, if I respond in a calm manner, people are going to feel comfortable enough to respond calmly as well, hopefully anyway. So of course, I mean, you can't really anticipate how a person is going to react in that fight or flight state. But I mean, being on the ATV, you're buckled in, you have that door buckled, you have that door to keep you buckled in too. So I think that as far as that goes, like that keeps people pretty grounded within their state of being. But also at the same time, I mean, they understand the risks and they understand what they are getting themselves into. And we prep them ahead of time to, remain in a state of, I don't know, being more grounded, or at least to try to attain that. But yeah.
And there's nowhere to run to anyways, right?
Yeah.
It's even if we stop from the fight or flight, the person might walk away from the situation, but the furthest they'll go is near and around the ATV. That's the only thing that will offer some sort of protection between any encounter. Other than that, it's the open road and the open forest, and you can get lost. Like at a certain point, we're 50 kilometers away from any civilization, any response to our people. So they stay close to us. So, and basically, that's what I'm trying to say is that they stay pretty close. They don't venture too far off. And especially when they know that, I mean, the Sasquatch is one reality, but one that is more predominant, it's the bears. And that will always keep people pretty vigilant, and they want to stay in group and they want to stay close by. They don't want to be stranded alone. That's when the fear sets in.
Yeah, because I'm going to assume that most of the people who go on these tours, they have no outdoor experience. They wouldn't know what to do if a bear came across their path or a cougar.
Exactly. I mean, most of them show up and they're I would say, well, at first they were ill prepared, and that was mainly on our fault, right? Because we didn't we assumed that, I mean, if you tell me that I'm going to go out in the bush, I'm not going to go riding for 4 hours only with a t-shirt, right? I'll bring a jacket on and sweater, a sweater and everything, and some survival gear, because I know I'm far. But most people don't think about that. Now we make it our policy to let people know, depending on the day, what kind of attire they should bring with them.
Yeah, like we have a prep that we send out to people so they know what to expect. and then what else they're getting themselves into. But
Yeah, how to dress and whatnot.
yeah.
Is it more for tourists, or is the locals coming out to support this too?
Well, right now, because of the COVID situation, I would say it's mainly locals, and people are going stir crazy, right? They're home and they want to be outside, so this is a great way for them to experience something with their families and friends, but yet still be away from this whole COVID, and in a sense, they can respect the 6 feet rules and regulation and whatnot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are people allowed to bring their own ATVs or side-by-sides?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Especially with larger groups. But then again, when you have your own ATV and whatnot, people rarely tend, unless they're tourists and they come, let's say, from Washington State or whatnot, they don't usually go out and rent the machine because they have already access to it or on a tour as we do, because since we're ATV incorporated, people that usually comes are one that never driven or been on an ATV or anything.
Makes sense.
Yeah, around the ATV community is very big and very active in the region.
Yeah, and I could see that. Trust me, I've ridden out there. I know what it's like. But, a lot of times, for the trails and everything that you guys go down, are you mainly on logging roads, or do you take side trails as well?
Well, any road that we drive on, it's active or inactive logging roads. Whenever we go off the beaten path, we leave the ATV, because it's a 6-seater. It's so big that it's not like a quad where you can just dive into the bush, or even like a 2-seaters. And
we can get on some pretty hairy spots with it, but we definitely, the narrow trails, we get off and we walk.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a 5-minute walk to reach the peak.
Right. Merle.
Got us something more, Dave.
Do you protection, firearms or bear bangers when you're out there? Because when I've gone on the trails up there, I've come across a lot of bears. I always pack a shotgun with me just in case. I'm just curious on your tours for protection of your people.
Because of the public aspect, we cannot bring a firearm with us and feel confident that, again, with the fight or flight, right, you don't know how someone might react and put their hand on a firearm. So we don't carry any firearms, but we do have bear bangers, we have a bear mace, and like I said, we have a knife, and we have a survival
with us.
Yeah, exactly. What do you call it? Like a shovel that is also an axe. So if it does come to a physical confrontation, we have what it needs. But really, it's we've encountered probably 12 bears so far throughout the whole season this year, and they're inquisitive. They look at us and then they walk away. So they never come to us.
Yeah, I also grew up too, like I said, in Quesnel. Like, my backyard was acres of forest, so I've always felt very confident in the bush, and like with other animals as well too. Like, I almost feel more comfortable hiking in areas or being out in the forest around wild animals than I would running into like a random person on a trail if I'm solitarily treading through. So, but I guess it just kind of depends on your own experience with it.
No, I can totally see that. Totally see that. The people who are taking this tour, I mean, let's face it, it's expensive. It is for out of the budget for some people, but for those who are seeking this type of adventure, do most of them believe in the phenomena of Bigfoot?
It's really a 50-50. Some are, well, all have most, I would say, like 90% have an open mind. And from there, some have a preconceived idea that they do exist. They encounter in some sort of a way or another an experience with the Sasquatch, and the other ones are just open-minded and hoping to see anything. I mean, once the only thing we saw during one of the tour was a quail running across the roadway. And it made their day. Like that's the only thing that we're talking about, like the whole way back. Like, oh, did you see the quail? It was so cool to see the quail running, and right. So it's That's it.
Yeah, you got to watch out for them dangerous quail. I mean, Merle likes, he likes his grouse and he likes his quail.
Grouse. A lot of people on your tour, do they expect they're going to encounter Sasquatch, Bigfoot, or?
No.
No?
No. Like nobody's so fine. I mean, we don't advertise it in that way either. So I don't think people get that idea, but they're just happy to learn about the Sasquatch, like the mythology. And
I mean, you're going out up back roads in Harrison Hot Springs. Like I feel like if you can't really feel disappointed going up there regardless, right? Especially when you're tapping into, you're hearing the stories and everything too. It's like you're re-experiencing through what we're sharing with people. But like I haven't experienced anybody coming back feeling like they were shorted of something after going out there.
Nah, just the scenery up there is worth the money alone. 100%.
It's incredible. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
if you look on the website, you see some of the pictures. It's just so breathtaking.
Yeah, I mean, you have like the glacial water and then all the mountains and everything too. So then you add, the whole picture's great.
Do you ever bring on special guests onto the tour?
What do you mean by a special
like,
guest?
say, Thomas Steenberg or other Sasquatch researchers?
Yes, well, for the next season, we've opened a line of communication with Thomas to on the weekends to have him do like a story night coming back from the tours, maybe around a bonfire or something. So we're working on bringing some guests to bring some stories into it.
Count us in. We're coming.
Awesome. So, and we can have you as special guests as well, right? You guys can come up and talk about your experience with the Sasquatch and how Merle, you ran away.
Oh yeah, Merle ran. He ran so far away he couldn't get away fast enough.
Also, side note, I would be interested in doing both of your guys' paranormal tours as well.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, so count me in.
Well, see,
if you guys want to come out, open door anytime you want. Anytime.
Excellent. But after talking with you, Dave, we started to look into all the other tours that we can do, and that opened up a whole new universe to us where we want to dive into the paranormal, the ghosts, the prospectors. There's some crazy stories about all of that in the region, and we want to do some pieces. And again, because of the world we're living right now and being shut down, we decided that we're going to take this time, because obviously with the new measures been into place, a lot of people are refraining right now from booking until this is passed. So we're using that time to research and maybe do some webcast pieces to bring the folklore history back to life of Harrison and BC, right? We're not going to just stick with the locally. We're going to pan out, but it was very interesting to get that idea from you.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that because I'm very interested in always helping people out. I have no problem with that, but there's a lot of shysters in this field, and my only warning and concern as we head into the final minute here would be to be very careful with whom you associate with, because there are a lot of shysters out there and that look to take advantage of people, and good people such as yourself, we don't want that to happen. Do me a favor, give a shout out, Bhima, to your website and how people can get a hold of you. We got 30 seconds.
Awesome. So anyone can reach us at www.harrisonlakenatureadventure.com or at 1-866-572-6444 anywhere in North America.
Merle, great show tonight.
A good show tonight. Strong show.
Strong show. Let's give him a few claps here just because that's a good, solid guest tonight. You know, we appreciate you guys. We really do appreciate it.
We had a great time.
Thanks, guys, for having us.
All right, you guys sit tight. I'm going to head us out to break here. Ghost of the Great White North happens mid-month here with Merle and from the Paranormal Road Trippers. He'll be back again next month. probably with his ugly Christmas sweater on. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. More of this show continues right after this. Good job, guys. Good job.
Well, thank you.
I can't believe 2.5 hours just went by.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that was fast. That was totally fast. And yes, Corn's the booking guy. I did use the Flock of Seagulls reference because you put it in my head. So thank you for that. And yeah, Merlevid 19. You all caught it. That's right. Actually, it's Merlevid 20. Merlevid 20. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's our shirt. Merlevid 20.
No, that's dumb.
No, it's not. Watch the chat room. Who would buy a Merlevid 20 t-shirt?
Well, I'd be up for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, screw it, I'm in.
I'm waiting for the responses here. This is gonna be kind of cool. Hey,
first 5 people order my shirt autographed.
Yeah, Bhima, I did send you the pictures of that basketball.
Awesome.
On Facebook.
Awesome. Let me go check it out.
If you guys add me on Facebook, keep in touch with me, and I'll take you on investigations.
For sure.
So into that, and that picture's crazy.
Yeah, that's something.
That is something.
Yeah, and I'll send you, Merle. I'll send you the pictures of the ghost encounter that I had in Quebec.
That sounded amazing.
I want to see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you look on my profile on Facebook, I believe they're there. But if not, I'll find them and send them to you.
Perfect.
Yeah. Hey, Bhima, do me a favor. Let's have a conversation tomorrow.
Okay.
If you're free, I'm free during the day tomorrow. I'm just working in the studio office here all day long here. But let's have a conversation tomorrow in regards to some of the ideas we talked about tonight, because I think you guys are pretty honest people. I think between Merle and I, we're a pretty good judge of character, and I would just want to make sure that you guys get off on the right foot here, and plus talk about potentially teaming up to do a conference down there as well.
Awesome, that would be cool.
Really awesome.
Yeah. And Kylie,
awesome.
don't forget to add us on Facebook as well, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is.
Of course. New biggest fan.
Yeah. We're weird, and we're here every Monday through Friday.
Awesome. We like weird.
Yeah. So, yeah, Bhima, you give me a call tomorrow anytime after about 10 a.m. And because by then I'll have my ice cap inside of me. And we'll go from there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Merle, good show. Good solid radio there, buddy. You are legendary once again. The chat room proved your legend tonight.
The chat room. Man, the Merle merch.
I saw some of those comments. It was Merle all over the board.
So strange. I'm going with it.
Oh, were you watching YouTube, Kylie?
I was, yeah. Every now and then I was picking up my phone and looking at the comments.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
I did hit it, I thought, earlier.
Because I will be watching. I check every night. Every night. All right, guys. I got to get ready to do the news here. But Merle, much love, buddy. And we'll talk tomorrow anyways about our project. And Bhima, will you know what? We could hook up in that conversation with Merle as well here. So what time do you guys want to get together? Merle, what's good for you? Anytime after 9 a.m. Okay. So, Bhima, why don't we say about 10 a.m.? You, me, and Merle will get on the phone together.
Perfect.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
See ya.
Kylie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Solid radio there. Good times. Good love for Merle. I really liked Bhima and Kylie. The energy that they had is just fantastic. Fantastic. Great show. Thank you, Nate Foote. Appreciate that. Nate Foote, you're going to have to come up here for that once the border is open. We'll have to take this tour. For sure. Alien probe? Who don't you like to probe? Let's just be honest. Yeah, Nate Foot, we got to get you up here. We got to get you up here. So just so you all know, Nate Foot there, he's a very staunch Republican, but in the same breath, his wife forces him to watch the Hallmark Channel. He's got the American flag in one hand and the tissues in the other, just in case. Every show on the Hallmark Channel is the same. Every show. Haven't you noticed that? All right, here we go, guys. Rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend your important time with us. I want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Speaking of the news, let's do this thing, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes what seems fake is truthful. Canadians across the country are being warned not to let moose lick their cars. This is a true thing. I never thought this was true until I moved up north. Yeah, over the weekend, images posted to Twitter appeared to show a sign in Jasper, Alberta stating, "Do not let moose lick your car." The images gained so much attention that outlets like Snopes set out to determine if the sign was real. The answer is yes. The sign is legit, and there is a real issue in parts of Canada with this. The reason why these images are about the moose, taking care of them. You see, moose frequent a lot of areas during the year where traffic is, and as it turns out, moose love the taste of road salt and have discovered that they can access a near endless supply from body panels of cars. Now, according to Jasper National Park spokesman Steve Young, he says this started as an occasional issue a few years ago, and now it's too common. People are getting far too close, and it is perpetuated by the moose's obsession with salt. They are addicts. They are addicts. It is like heroin to them. Anyways, they are getting close to vehicles. The moose population in Jasper has grown in recent years following the decline of the wolf population, making interactions between humans and moose all the more frequent. This has led some people to feed the moose and drawing them towards roads, which brings in its own dangers. Look, I've seen what happens when you get moose versus vehicle. It's not pretty. It's not. These things will kill you. Okay, it's not like hitting a deer, right? You hit a moose, that thing, the moose are tall. Okay, so what happens is when you hit them, doesn't matter if you're in a truck or car. When you hit them, the front end of your bumper takes out their legs. Their body is coming right at you. So about 1,400 pounds of moose body coming right at you through the windshield. Never mind the antlers if you're dealing with a buck. This is true. Anyways, so people are feeding moose. They're getting closer to the roads, not to mention that it's also against the law that prohibits people from feeding or disturbing wildlife. Violators could face fines of up to $25,000. Keynote here, keep the moose away, okay? We don't need any more dead moose. Bring back the wolves. Texas space memorial firm Celestis will provide more than a dozen capsules carrying human remains and DNA to the moon next year. Yeah. Want to be buried on the moon? It is officially now possible. Dubbed Luna 2, the mission will launch on a July 2021 NASA flight to the region of the moon called Lacus Mortis. To date, only one person, revolutionary planetary scientist Eugene Shoemaker, has been buried on the lunar surface. Celestis, which is based in Houston, aims to change that by regularly firing up remains to Earth's rocky neighbor. The Celestis memorial capsules will remain on the moon as a permanent tribute to the intrepid souls who never stop reaching for the stars, the firm writes on their website. Each time you view the moon, you will know your loved one is in a place that few have ever gone. The remains of former space scientists, sci-fi authors, and even a British math teacher will be on board next year's groundbreaking flight. NASA's own Moretta West, the lunar geologist who determined the crucial site for the first landing on the moon, will have her remains scattered as part of the mission. Celestis 2021 burials will be carried out to the lunar surface by a spacecraft built by private U.S. robotics outfit Astrobotic. The Peregrine lander will be the first American spacecraft to land on the moon since Apollo. The mission, called Peregrine Mission 1, will be launched by United Launch Alliance's Vulcan Centaur rocket from Cape Canaveral. Capsules will remain on the moon as a permanent memorial, Celestis said. The remains of Shoemaker, the planetary scientist laid to rest on the moon in 1998, were scattered in partnership with Celestis. Next year's mission will mark only the company's second memorial flight, more than 22 years from its first. It's a futuristic way to honor the dead and a result of space travel becoming more commonplace. So here's my question with all of this. Okay? If we're going to start pushing people's bodies to the moon or their ashes or whatever, what happens when we start to put people on the planet? Is this not going to pollute things? I don't know. I'm not sure this is a good idea. I really do not think it's a good idea. Yeah. Merle, by the way, says, strong show. I wasn't silent. They just talked a lot. No, Merle, you were silent. You were silent. I know you're listening. I know you're listening. Anyways, moving on. An extremely rare white giraffe has been fitted with a tracking device for its protection after its family was killed by poachers. The giraffe in Kenya has a rare genetic condition called leucism that causes partial loss of pigmentation in its skin. It was fitted with a tracking device on one of its horns November 8th, the Northern Rangelands Trust has said in a statement. The trust says it's the world's only white giraffe, although another was spotted in Tanzania in 2015. The device will send hourly updates on the animal's whereabouts so rangers can monitor its movements on a daily basis and keep it safe from poachers. The unusual coloration makes the animal dangerously vulnerable to poachers in the wilderness. 2 other white giraffes in the conservancy, a female and her calf, were killed by poachers last March, the trust said, and concerns are mounting for the remaining animal. The 3 white giraffes were an immense source of pride in the Ishakwabini community and made international headlines over the years. The giraffe's grazing range has been blessed with good rains in the recent past, and the abundant vegetation bodes well for the future of the white male. Ahmed Noor, manager of the conservancy, says giraffes are the world's tallest animal, reaching a height of more than 18 feet. They're gorgeous, too. Gorgeous. This man hit $1 million, and it was all worth crashing through his roof. An Indonesian man turned an unusual bit of property damage into a fortune when he sold the meteorite that crashed through his roof for over $1 million. Joshua Huda Lung says that he was working outside his home in Sumatra when the meteorite crashed through the roof of his house and landed outside. When I lifted it, the stone was still warm and I brought it into the house, he said. Joshua says that he shows the spot where the metallic object had crashed through his roof, the 4.5-pound chuck of carbonaceous chondrite. Chondrite? Yeah. A rare variety of meteorite was valued at $1.8 million by experts and attracted the attention of U.S. expert Jared Collins, who purchased the meteorite and resold it to fellow U.S. collector Jay Piatek. Yeah, Joshua didn't disclose the amount that he was paid for the meteorite, but he indicated he's now a millionaire. He said the money will now allow his family to expand, and he plans to donate some towards the building of a local church. Great for him. Good for him. You know, this stuff never happens to me. Never. Maybe I just don't look in my house enough. Maybe you don't either. But a South Carolina couple did. They recently moved into their home and found a cache of rare coins valued at $25,000. So what did they do with it? Well, we're going to tell you. They returned it to the owner. James and Clarissa Mumford said they were closing in on their Columbia home in mid-October and were in the process of moving when they discovered 2 cases of coins from the 1800s built into a built-in closet drawer. The cache included 46 Liberty $5 coins and 18 Morgan silver dollars. They looked real old, like they were really worth a lot of money, James said. Munford said he took some of the photos of the coins and texted the pictures to the house's former owner to see if he recognized them. I was just thinking, you know, they're not mine. They're probably a family heirloom, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that he gets them back. The couple said keeping the coins never crossed their mind, you know, because they're just good people. Yes, there are still good people out there, even though that would have been within their legal rights to actually claim them. We didn't really know anything about the value of the coins. We really didn't care, to be honest with you. We knew they were his, Clarissa stated. The home's former owner, a coin collector, came by to pick up his forgotten property. He said most of his collection is kept in a safe, but he had forgotten about the cases stashed in the drawer when he was moving out of the house. He estimated the collection worth $25,000. Good for them. That's good karma right there. Very good karma. A California man was arrested Monday after leading FBI agents on a car chase that ended not in a car but on a Yamaha 350 LIC scooter under Lake Shasta. 44-year-old Matthew Piercy of Palo Santo, California, was wanted on 31 felony counts relating to a $35 million investment fraud scheme. Oh, wow. Yeah, per federal court documentations, FBI agents say Piercy led them on a car chase before his lake outing on Monday morning, going through several residential neighborhoods before leading the chase onto Interstate 5 near Redding. Piercy ditched his truck near the edge of the Lake Shasta, pulled out the sea scooter, and swam into the cold NorCal waters. According to federal prosecutors, there were times where the only thing giving away Piercy's location were the bubbles. The 350 LIC scooter is a 3-speed submersible device that can hold onto it while you cruise along at speeds up to 3.7 miles per hour underwater. Retails for about $1,200. Piercy stayed underwater for nearly 30 minutes until he ultimately got out on his own, at which point he was arrested. Authorities said medical personnel said that he was fine, and his wife had given the federal agents a set of dry clothes to change into. Well, that's nice. What a great wife, bringing him a change of clothes while being chased down by the FBI. So Piercy was wanted by the FBI for soliciting $35 million from investors for an upvesting fund alongside business partner Kenneth Wilton. Yeah, Piercy allegedly admitted to an associate that the fund didn't exist. Only $8.8 million was originally or allegedly paid back to investors, while the rest of those funds were used to purchase and renovate 2 properties, buy a houseboat, pay off credit cards, among other things. As a result, Piercy faces multiple charges, including mail fraud, wire fraud, money laundering, and witness tampering. If convicted, he could spend the next 20 years in prison. Paris, France, some good news for animals. The population of most wild animals with a backbone, mammals, amphibians, birds, reptiles, and fish, is stable, according to scientists, in a finding that's sharply at odds with a benchmark report issued every 2 years by environmental group WWF. Looking at 14,000 vertebrate populations monitored by the WWF since 1970, researchers found that if 1% suffering the worst declines are removed from the equation, the remaining populations grouped together are holding steady in terms of overall numbers. In September, the WWF's Living Planet Index reported an average of 68% fall in the populations of all animals monitored, a grim figure that made headlines worldwide. Collapsing all population trends in a single value can give the impression that everything is declining, Brian Lung said. And he goes on, he's from McGill University, by the way. He says, however, the image of a global biodiversity desert is not supported by the evidence. There are, in fact, regions where most species within certain groups are on a clear downward spiral, such as birds in the Asia-Pacific region and reptiles in the Americas. But including them in an overall average can be misleading. The Living Planet Index metric does not actually show that 68% of all populations have been lost, he noted. Unfortunately, it is hard not to leave that with that impression. Asked to comment on the report, WWF referred AFP to the Zoological Society of London, which co-authors the flagship Living Planet reports, and of course, they are now in disagreement. This one's got to end up in the squared circle. Has to. Either way, we're still killing too many wild animals for no reason. All right? Especially exotic ones. By poaching. Do you see that ugly tree in New York? The Christmas tree? Setting it up? And how it all fell apart? Oh, that's just beautiful. Couldn't say 2020. You can't even pick a good Christmas tree for 2020. Anyways, Ellen Kalish, director and founder of Ravensburg Wildlife Center in New York, said she received calls this week from a wife of a man who was part of the crew tasked with preparing the 75-foot Norway spruce for display outside of New York City's big complex. The woman told Kalish her husband had found a baby owl inside the tree, but the rehabilitator said she soon discovered the raptor actually was an adult northern saw-whet, a species of owl that typically grows only to about 5 inches high. I thought it was such a heartwarming Christmas story that there was this secret in the Christmas tree, Kalish stated. The owl is now in the care of the Wildlife Center, which said the bird will be returned to the wild once it receives a clean bill of health from a veterinarian. Cute little guy. An environmental nonprofit group in Florida said a volunteer walking along the beach discovered what seemed to be a macabre scene, but it only turned out to be a washed-up store mannequin. Ocean Hour, a Florida nonprofit that organizes beach cleanup events, said a volunteer named Kathleen was walking along the beach of the intercoastal side of Perdido Key when she came across what she initially thought was a human body that was missing its head and arms. The nonprofit said another witness on the scene called 911, but Kathleen took a closer look, then discovered the barnacle-encrusted form was a headless store mannequin that had apparently spent a good amount of time in the water before being washed up on the beach. We are glad it wasn't a real body, Ocean Hour said. My goodness. What else do you say in that moment? We are glad it wasn't a real body. Thank you, Florida. We appreciate the knowledge. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your response on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. What is your opinion of ghost tours, Bigfoot tours, or UFO sighting tours? Alex, they're a great idea, plus an opportunity to make money and educate people. Andrew, I didn't know this was such a thing, but if people want to spend their money on this, I won't be the guy to try and stop them. I will say this, people need to educate themselves and not rely on others to influence them into making bad decisions. Very nice. Very nice. All right, let's continue on. Manitoba Becky, she says, there's a need, and there needs to be more of them available. Natasha uses the meme, ha 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 ha. So I guess she doesn't buy into them. LOL by Debbie Mitchell Warren. Yes, because LOL. June. I think for people that just want a taste of things and not make it their main hobby, it's pretty great for them. I don't see anything wrong with having them. That's the first thing I do when I go to a new city is find the best ghost tours. Serena thinks they're fun. If I am in a new town, I look for those types of tours. Right on. Kevin, been on all three types. I now just call them tours. Kelly says they're touristy. Science Bob, I hate them. Too many loudmouths, know-it-alls. Science Bob. Come on. That must be his beard talking. He's getting a little Santa beard there. John, it's staged, have gone on some ghost tours, felt like they were paid actors there. It was weird, not what I expected. The more ghost tours I go on, the more skeptical I become. Jim, the Jim Christie, made a comment. He goes, I'd rather go with a small group of people that I trust. Caden, I think they could be an amazing thing if done correctly. Smaller groups and more hands-on for those taking the tour would be a lot better. Krista, ghost tours are fun. Thanks, Krista, because you've been on mine. Don, the more antennas, aka people, connected to the same frequency, the more manifestations that group's interest will form physically. I don't buy that. Joyce, entertainment and profit. Davey, they're all a clarion call to charlatans, liars, and exaggerators, but I would still go on any of them. Kim, take me now to the paradise city where the no, wrong. She says, take me now. We need more of them. Rick, good way to make a few bucks from the buffs. Nate Foot, I understand the ghost tours. Most of them are on private property or residences. No one should have to pay for Bigfoot or UFO tours, though, I guess, unless it's on private property. Don't get mad. Just my opinion. Oh, Melinda got mad. You got Melinda under Melinda's skin there. Kevin, tours are great as long as you get a free sample. Kim, well, unless you're familiar with the organization doing it, I would say just they're out to make money. David, all you have to do here is open the door, it seems, and something is always flying around and up to no good. Barry, well, let's just say I went on your amazing ghost tour, Dave. Only don't do any UFO sightings. I don't know what the hell he's saying, but he wants another one. Penman, I've had the experiences and don't need a tour guide. Mike, I take people out to see Bigfoot areas, but I have to trust them with one of my areas, and I do not charge money. That's just ridiculous to me. And Salmo, free tours or paid tours? Some people pay $500 to have a CE5. Aussie Rob, Bigfoot tours are a waste because he is the undisputed hide-and-seek champ. We're going to leave it right there. Thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Day. We will do it all again tomorrow on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you to Captain Shirk for a great set of news. You can always find the SOR Newswire by going to our website, spacedoutradio.com, or our Facebook page, the SOR Newswire. That works too. And, of course, to our great guest, Merle from Ghosts of the Great White North and the Paranormal Road Trippers, and to Bhima Ji and Kylie from HarrisonLakeNatureAdventures.com. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. And a big thanks to everybody in our chat rooms tonight on YouTube, LGAB, Spreaker, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club at our website, and all the Starkers and Starkettes hanging out on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You were awesome tonight. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but tomorrow, my friends, we will ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we got room for them too. Good night. Solid show. High quality merling there, people. High quality merling all night long. That's why we call it all Merle, all day, all night. Because you guys were into it tonight. Thank you for that. Oh, let's go. Download this bad boy. Hey, Super Quest, how you doing, buddy? Varla Ventura. She's our guest tomorrow. Varla Ventura. She's an awesome guest. Yeah, I went there. All right, I'm just going to step away for a quick second here. Go catch my breath, and I will be right back. Right back. 78 of you. No leaving. No leaving. All right? No leaving. All right, I'll be right back. I'm Dave Scott, Spaced Out Radio. All right, I am back. Excuse me. All right, we're all downloaded. That's good. Here. Back to the editor. We having a good night? My foot is killing me. Yesterday, at work, we were clearing a bunch of snow and getting ready for the snow trucks to come in. Plows. And I stepped on my foot wrong. And now it hurts. Hurts bad. Like aching sore. It's on the outside of my foot. Right foot. Hey, Alaska's greatest athlete didn't show up tonight. By the way, thank you to everybody in the super chat tonight. Big thank you to Fapster, Gorgeous Teresa, Big Rob, Worsley, Warrior in Australia twice, Teresa twice. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the love and support, everyone. I really do. And that means a lot to me. It really does. Thank you. Let's clear that out. All right, so let's boost this up. And yeah, one sec here, people. I'm like in slow motion tonight. I'm in real slow motion tonight. Don't know why. Slow motion. Dropbox. Sure. All right, let's start our edit. Let's go. Copy. I tell you, I really want to do this Bigfoot tour. They sounded like really, really nice people. They really did. I really enjoyed them tonight. And Merle was in fine form. By the way, Merle was a little unsure with all you guys busting his chops tonight. He's like, do they like me or do they not like me? I said, no, Merle, they said they wouldn't bust your chops. They didn't like you. Of course they like you. How do you not like Merle? Just saying. How do you not like Merle? Right? And let's just be honest. Merle is good people. If you guys ever get the opportunity to meet up with Merle, he's a good dude. He's a very, very good dude. I think that's it. That ain't it. Undo. Always number 2. Screw. Merle is totally loved. By the way, you should all join Merle's group, the Paranormal Road Trippers, on Facebook and on Instagram. And he is putting together a YouTube channel as well. Make sure you all take that in, because that would really, really support him. I like him. I met him. Yes, you did, Teresa. Pardon me. Gorgeous Teresa. Isn't it? We'll learn more about it right after this. Yep. Is the one. Can I not see this? I'm having a tough time here trying to find the edits here. Goodness, what is that? Should be 4. Give me 1 second here, people. So you remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind? So you remember Close Encounters of and should be. Yep. That's it. Cool. Now I'm getting someplace. There's the end.
Yo.
A Sasquatch during your tour.
Ooh, I think.
.com forward. Cut it off too soon. Cut it off too soon. All right, Susan. Hey, Surf Jer. Or Surf Jer. How are you? Welcome to our chat. Dirty Filth. Are you trying to stir it up here? Oh, you are trouble. You are trouble, Dirty Filth. You gotta watch what I say now because Dirty Filth, he's running with the big boys now after his awesome cartoons were liked by Brandon Fugel. He's running with the big boys now. I'm just a second fiddle now. Second fiddle, Phil. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm so happy for you, man, that your hard work is getting recognized. I think it's amazing. Really do. So well deserved. I've released the hair. Damn rights you are, Dirty Filth. Damn rights you are. Hi, Minister Elaine. How you doing? Hey, Cat Chaser. How are you? Thanks for coming on in. Glad you're here. We got to come up with a good Merle t-shirt. I don't know if hashtag Merle will work too well. What the hell is with my hair? Holy cow. Come on down. You wish you had hair like I do, Dirty Filth. I know you do. Suicide spikes. All right. Time to get your verification codes ready, people. All right. Time to get them ready. All right. Let's get this stuff ready. File, MERLE. There we go. That. Your verification code for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is 386 628. 386 628. Make sure you use it wisely. Verify yourselves wisely because you don't want to be unverified. Just saying. Last thing you want is you don't want to be unverified. Oh. The gorgeous Denali princess. She didn't cheat tonight. Oh. Ew. Alien Probe Master. How's your lube? Ronno my son plays in the 100 Mile House Minor Hockey Association. So don't ever forget, if you got a good beard, do like me, use your Mighty Moose beard oil. There it is, mightymoosebeard.com. Just squirt a little in your fingers right here. You know, you rub your hands together, get them nice and oily like that. Give your beard a little love. It works. And then, once you got your beard all done, if you want, you can put a little bit in your hair so that way you're not washing it, down the sink or anything like that. Works with your hair. Gives it a nice sheen, especially at the ends. Oh, I'll get you some. I'll get you some there, little Marky Spender. I see you're back in the chat room. Merle could read me the Chinese phone book, and I'd be there every night. You're going to give Merle an ego. Little Marky Spender just got off work, too. Fixing the machines at the lumber yard. Oh, let me see. What am I doing? Hey, little Marky Spender, was Tim Hortons open when you came through town? Or are they still closing at like 10 o'clock? Getting real old for them doing that, man. Remote viewing is not cheating. How's Baxter? Where's Baxter, Mark? Where's my boy Baxter? Surf Jer, you got yourself a skullet there, it sounds like. You got the bald spot the size of a large silver coin along with 3 feet of hair. You got a nice skullet going on. Very nice. That one is done. Oh, Dirty Filth. That's a nice goblet you got there while you're watching the show. That's actually a cool photo, man. Thanks for posting that on Twitter. I'm going to retweet that. Oh, yeah. So we'll tell you a little bit of a Merle story here. So we're out hunting one day, little Marky Spender, a.k.a. Timber Hunter, myself and Merle. And Merle wants to get a grouse, and he's bragging about his gun. He's bragging about how awesome his rifle is and how accurate and perfect it is. He was, so I'm the spotter, I'm the one driving, and I come up this side road, and there's a grouse standing right in the middle of the road. This gravel logging road. So Merle's beside me, Mark's in the back seat. I think that's how it went, Mark. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And Merle hops out. Bird is still standing in the middle of the road. Merle lines up his gun to the bird. Shoots, misses. Merle was not impressed. Bird still hasn't moved. Merle shoots again, misses. Shoots a third time, misses. Moves about 3 feet closer. Merle fires another 4 shots and misses each shot. Merle moves up a little closer again, fires another 3 shots, and misses those 3. Finally, he gets pissed off that his gun isn't working. I'm laughing my ass off. So is Mark. I'm more verbal. So he runs back to the vehicle, grabs Mark's gun. The bird is still, it has a death wish. The bird is still standing in the middle of the gravel road. Mike moves up close again, fires the 11th shot, misses. Fires the 12th shot, misses. Moves up again, finally with the 13th shot, finally drops the grouse. 13 shots. 13 shots, 2 rifles. Merle finally shoots the grouse from about 15 feet away. Mark and I have never laughed so friggin' hard in our lives, man. It was one of those beautiful moments that you just had to see and be there for, and I am glad. So any shirt that we get with Merle on it, there will be 13 dots on that shirt to represent the night or the day when Merle literally took 13 shots to shoot a grouse. "13 shots. Still won't believe it. So when you pick up your, just remember, when you pick up your Merle t-shirts that we'll have for next month, okay, when you see the 13 dots on it, remember that we're not polka dotting anything. No, we're not polka dotting anything. Those represent, and they don't represent the 13 colonies if you're America. They represent the 13 shots that Merle took to drop the grouse. And I know little Marky Spender is laying in bed right now laughing while hearing this. Oh, you're in your chair, little Marky Spender. But you're still laughing. You're still laughing at it because it's funny. It's totally funny. Little Marky Spender, why don't you ever stop in here after work? I'm on your way home. I'm on your way home. I don't get it. I don't get it. Never stops in. I think we got to do the release the Merle. Or, oh, that's a good idea. You know what we could do? You know what we could do, Mark, is we'll get a giant Merle across the front, and then we could put like 13 shot glasses. Ron, you're jealous of my beard because you have like 3 whiskers that pop out and they all go in different directions. I think that's what we do. That's my opinion. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to shut this down for the night because I got to get to bed and get up with my handsome boy tomorrow and get him off to school. So I will be seeing you guys tomorrow night. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you to Gorgeous Teresa twice and to BBD Warrior twice, to Worsley, to Big Rob and Fapster for the amazing super chats. Thank you to all of our new subscribers as well who've jumped on here. Remember, the push is for 10,000 subscribers by the end of the month. You guys helping us out and sharing this channel during the show on your profiles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter really helps us accomplish that. I really, really want to try and hit that goal, but let's do it. Let's go check it out and try and hit that 10,000. I will chat with you all tomorrow. Much love from SOR headquarters, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.